That occurs when you have a weapon specialization, which is a feat which expands your critical threat range. So in this case, you don't get that until you have that weapon specialization.
He said he clicked it. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
Hey, Rory.
Hey.
Okay, as I feared, everything is wonky, so I'm gonna have to redo all of these. All right, so.
We're going live in 4 minutes?
Well, technically we're live now.
Yep.
But we're on our starting screen and we're letting the audience listen in, so they can actually hear us right now.
We're hanging out.
But we have some music running in the background, and it's kind of a chance for the audience to listen to a little of the pre-show strategy stuff.
Yeah, that was nice. I was there the last Sunday when you did that.
Yeah, we did that during our break on Sunday. Oh.
Don't mind. I'm gonna go get some water.
Did I?
Everyone out there, hydrate.
Yes, hydrate.
Make voices. Hydrate a lot.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know you all need a Wookiee in your ears.
We totally do.
We have very different definitions of what's beautiful, I can tell you that.
That's much appreciated.
All right. Your camera is absolutely perfect, Josh. Steve, yours is good. Although, if possible, and it's not a big deal, your view is much smaller. Your head is further away from the camera than everyone else's. So there you go. That's better. Thank you.
Come closer.
Come closer. Oh, not that close.
Yeah. That's what I want to see.
That was really intense.
Let's just not have a repeat of whatever day that was.
All days?
The one where I had my face and then everyone's faces.
Oh, can we do that again? That should be like a special giveaway.
I mean, I still have it as my background. Hold on.
We might bring that back at some point, but probably not tonight.
All have that as a background.
All of us.
Oh my
We don't want this? What?
Wait.
Up?
Oh my gosh, why?
It's beautiful.
I'm like so here for it, but at the same time, please no.
How'd your character creation go, Vivi?
It was good. Evelyn helped me out really well.
Yeah.
We basically wrangled our children and
Yeah. It was a child wrangling session.
Characters, it was great.
See, I hear that and I just imagine that.
That's literally what it was.
Yeah, I can use that.
That was 100%.
All right, and we have the folks are already popping in. We're going to be live here in just a second. And good to see Lord Gasumba. Thank you so much again, Jay, for the host tonight and for all the help. And good to have Anna B. Meyer in with us. And hey, Snafu, thank you for the follow. And we're just doing a little bit of last minute scene adjustment here. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the one I already have adjusted. So we can, in fact, go live. And here we go. Boom. Boom.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello, hello. All right. And welcome everybody to our first Greyhawk Awakening session here on Blue Box. We've got a little bit of last-minute adjustments that we're going to do, get some of the scenes right, because we had everybody just pop in here. It's 5 o'clock Central Time is a time where a lot of people are just getting off work, so we're working through that. But we got a really exciting night planned tonight. We're really thankful for all the support we're getting from the community. We have some amazing role players. Hey, Blood Wild, good to see you, sir. And we are going to have a fantastic night. So while I do some last-minute adjustments here, let me take some more Q&A from the players, because I know we've just finished up some of your last stat items. And then also any questions you have about sort of house rules, some of the things that we've discussed, but maybe you don't have full clarity on yet, and I'll be happy to help with that.
How do you play this game?
Well, you have these things called dice.
Where do I get those from?
Yeah, what are dice? I only have one set. Is that normal?
For some people.
Some people only have one set.
Depends on how often you need to throw them because you get frustrated with them. I know some people that go through their dice pretty frequently.
No.
I wish I could say it's because I throw them. I just lose them. They're like socks in a dryer.
You lose your dice? Wow, that's poor stewardship, sir.
Yeah, I was like, should we call some like federal individual to try and get your dice taken away? Neglect.
So while we're here, hey, Zarathanan, good to see you, sir. And just a quick couple of quick notes. So for those that are wondering, we are running 3.5 as our core edition. But this is not just your standard 3.5 stream. So we have 3.5 as the core, but we have a number of 1E elements. So we use group initiative systems here like 1E. Some of our classes have been modified with 1E flavor to them, and or 2E, 1E, 2E flavor. Some specializations with spells and things. And then we also bring in one element from 5e. There's one thing in 5e that I actually like, and that's advantage. So we do use advantage in this system, although I've had advantage on other campaigns get a little bit out of hand with the way we're currently doing it. So I can give players advantage. If the audience wants to give a player advantage, it's not the 100 bit cheer that you see in the commands. It's actually 200. I just haven't changed it yet. And that's not because...
I can do that right now.
All right, awesome. Thank you. And it's not because I'm greedy. It's just I don't want to flood too many of those into the campaign. It kind of unbalances things.
Well, you don't want somebody to have 14 advantages, for example? Just throwing wild numbers here. 14.
And then go down to 7 and back up.
Why did that not feel hypothetical to me? Hey, good to see you, Stolock, Phantom NJ. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we're just doing a little bit of last minute adjustments. And I think I have, got this one to do here still. Any questions on things related to armor class, roles? Some of you have played. So for our audience, all of our players here are brand new to Greyhawk. Y'all are beautiful. Thank you very much. They're all new to Greyhawk, but they have all played before. So let's just go around, and we're going to get to your characters in a second. But just give us your name. Tell us a little bit about your background in D&D, what you've played before, and then go ahead and if you have socials that you'd like to make people aware of, you can go ahead and mention those, and you can even drop them in the chat as we're doing our last minute prep before we get started. Let's start with you, Millie.
All right. Hi, guys. I'm Evelyn. I have been playing D&D since, for my first game was when I was 18. I played 3.5 when it was a thing. At the time, there was no 5e when I first started playing. I played with a group of high school friends through my first year of college, and then the group kind of went ways as life goes sometimes. And then I actually started playing with our lovely DM Neuromancer over here.
Lovely. Wow, I don't get called that very often.
Almost 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I am in every campaign we are currently running on here on Twitch, so you can find me if you are here on Twitch at any point.
Mainly
you can find me at Theater Evie. pretty much everywhere. So if you want to check out any of my stuff, I am a prop maker. So if you want to see cool props, I make them and I share pictures of them sometimes.
Yeah, she's like a theater professional type person. So yeah, definitely very cool. All right, let's go to Josh.
Cool. Hi, everybody. I'm Joshua Blake. I started playing D&D, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago. Started with 5e. I literally dipped a toe into Pathfinder, and that was about it. I think I did 2 sessions, and that's it. So now coming back to 3.5 is still pretty hard to do. I've mainly been in 5e most of my life. I love DMing, and I'm in PC Voices on Twitter and Instagram. I do a lot of voice acting and other such nerdy stuff. So
I'm going to put you on the spot here. So you do a Monster Monday, Josh, and you posted one this week. Can you do a recap of that for us? Do you remember who you did?
Yeah, totally. I remember who I did. Right. So for this, I was actually really surprised. This was the most wrong answers I've gotten on any of my posts before.
And so what he means by that is when he does, so Josh does a weekly NPC, sort of a monster, and then he has you guess what that monster is on his channel. So go ahead and give that to us now as I'm finishing up this last part.
Yeah, so the one that I did for this week was actually, and I'm going to spoil it for you guys, but it was the Gorgon. So like the metal bowl that sprays the petrifying gas, but it's, how did I do it? You come across trampled trees off beaten path covered in debris. Remnants of fights or massacres surround you. Hearing the heavy pounds and you're thinking, I'm screwed. Clanging up plates, you may become paced. You then hear the creature's roar. Better watch out for its gore. The horns curling, vapor swirling, preparing yourself for more. Its steps shaking you to your core, body that creaks and moans, horns upon steel, not stone. It takes blow by blow, but not a second does it slow. What creature is it?
Wow. Let's give him a round of applause. Well done, sir. Very nice. All right, so before we go to Steve, real quickly, just shout out again, hey, a couple of our longtime viewers. We got Lurkenstein. Reed has been with us for the beginning of Blue Box, which was just about 9 months ago. We're still a new stream. We got Shane O'Mac. He is a longtime viewer. But then we got a lot of the new folks here that are joining us through the Greyhawk community. Good to see all of these folks that are joining us, and we are super excited about tonight. All right, let's go to Steve. Give us an introduction. Tell us about who you are.
Howdy, my name is Steve. I'm a relative noob to the D&D scene. My first campaign was with DM Neuromancer on a 4th Age Lord of the Rings, which has been a blast for the past few years. And I'm still learning. I'd love to get into DMing at some point, but I'm just blown away by how much goes into everything from planning the campaign to responding and doing good NPC. So I'm really just learning, and I love it all, and I can't wait to keep participating and contributing more.
Fantastic, thank you. All right, let's go to Vivi.
Hey, my name is Vivi. I started playing D&D about 2 years ago and DMing about almost a year now. 5th edition. Dipped a tiny toe into 3.5 very briefly, but that was about it. So this is all interesting and new. Excited to be here. On Instagram, I'm at the DM's Quest. I paint miniatures and amateur miniature painter since October of last year. So I'm going on like 7 months now, and I dabble in a bit of terrain as well.
Yeah, you create fantastic terrain. You're selling yourself short. You're really, really good. And then last but not least, we have Rory.
Yeah, my name is Rory. I'm in 2 different podcasts, one with two DMs or 2 dungeon masters, and also run a server that also has a podcast, Voshphere's Adventuring Academy. I run a lot of one-shots, running more and more one-shots as it grows. Been following this Twitch channel for 8 months. Definitely a fan, and like super excited that I can even be here. So
Fantastic. So again, thank you to all of you. And we won't normally spend this much time, of course, at the beginning of a stream, but since it's our first stream, I wanted to take a few minutes to let the individual players announce themselves. And then I also want to say a couple of shout outs I need to make. First of all, I've already said thank you to Jay, that's Lord Gasumba, a fantastic supporter of the community, somebody that has been running the longest standing D&D campaign that anyone even knows. I mean, 40 years, the same campaign, most of the same players, incredible. But also, you've got Christoph, who runs Greyhawk Online, and they have really welcomed Blue Box with open arms, shouted us out. His Orth Journal, if you haven't seen the Orth Journal, that's OERTH, which is the Greyhawk sort of globe, if you will, the Earth. The Flanness, which you've heard of, that is the continent, that is the primary continent within Greyhawk. So many of, as I said, our players are new to Greyhawk, although Josh has already bought his own classic 1983 box set, and he's got all kinds of materials. I love seeing these 5e players dive in with both feet to the old systems and old lore. It's so much fun. And so a big shout out to Jay, to Christoph. Thank you to P.S. Smedger, Pluffett Smedger over on Cannon Fire. He's been a support. Anna B. Meyer. I've got a custom Greyhawk map that Anna has done for us here at Blue Box, which is absolutely fantastic. We just have so many supporters in this community already. It's fantastic. Now, the other thing I was going to mention is that we have some great sponsors. So a couple of sponsors I want to acknowledge. One, we have Dragon Crafting Guild. Dragon Crafting Guild makes these amazing dice trays. And I have a surprise for you tonight. You already knew, if you've joined us, that I'm giving away this incredible, beautiful, pristine 1983 classic glassography World of Greyhawk. This will be given away toward the end of tonight's stream. You'll be able to participate right through the Twitch. You'll just type a command. I've got an automated bot that will run it and randomize it for me, and I'm not even giving any preferential treatment to subs for this, but we would like to have you sub and follow us tonight, but I really want this to be an open giveaway because I'm really just trying to support the community and continue to push out a lot of Greyhawk content. But we have, hey, thank you very much for the follow, Judge Merlin. So Dragon Crafting Guild, we're going to give this away at the break. We'll take a little break, probably a 5-minute break at the middle of the show, and we'll be giving this away to somebody. So it's going to be a double giveaway night. Also want to recognize Frederica Draws. All of the artwork that you're seeing for these player characters. Oh, hey, MJ, thank you for this. We appreciate that, sir. All the artwork you're seeing for these characters was done by Frederica. She's a sponsor, and I'm actually getting her involved with the virtual Greyhawk Con. She's going to help us do some artwork for virtual Greyhawk Con. So that's going to be fantastic as well. So we got a lot of great sponsors. And then my last but not least shout out, is that an Errol Ordos? Yep, exactly. Yeah, I got all kinds of fun stuff here behind me. So the last one is I want to thank Roxafarius. Bill reached out to me. He volunteered to help us moderate this channel, and that is just so kind. You know, to come out and just say, I want to help. I want to be part of getting this going. I was really appreciative of that. So thank you, sir. All right, let's get to the game. So let's do a quick, oh yes, Albaron, she is incredible. And I saw earlier somebody mentioned that they taught themselves basic from the, or D&D, yeah, so Roxafarius, same thing. 79, hey, Christoph, thank you very much for the sub. That's the aforementioned Christoph of Greyhawk Online and Orth Journal. And so I taught myself the same way, 1978, 79, original red box, and then the blue box, which is of course the moniker for our stream. All right, let's get to the game. I'd like each of you to walk through, give me a quick introduction to your character, class, level, name, race, and if you'd like to, just a little tidbit about your character. And we're going to go in reverse sequence this time. We're going to go ahead and start with Rory.
I was expecting to go last.
That's why I did that. Like to keep you on your toes.
So I forget everything you said, but my name's Rory, and I'm playing Gimble, who is a gnome illusionist.
Okay, excellent. Let's go to Liluth.
My name is Vivi. My character is Liluth. She's a wild elf druid, Grugak. Yeah, she's just very curious and dirty. And she has lots of pockets for lots of knickknacks and stuff like that she carries around.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Zombie Knight. Let's go to Steve and tell us about Wilnan.
Yes, I am playing a human paladin named Uthar, who seems to be roughly 50 years old, human paladin, but very immature for his age and inexperienced. So we will see why he has a chip on his shoulder about his father. He seems a little bit old to be still thinking about that, and why he's better at dodging attacks than he is at connecting his blows.
Well done. Tell us about Brim.
So, I'm Joshua Blake, and I'm going to be playing Brimstone. He's a half-ogre fighter, standing roughly 7.5 feet tall with dark gray skin and multiple different scars and red scars and cuts across his body, with the sides of his head shaved and the braids going down like a mane on his head, 2 dark pupils sitting in his head. He doesn't really like being around the world of man, a little bit nervous fellow, but likes to keep as perfect posture as possible.
Outstanding. And then let's go, which is unusual certainly for he's a different kind of half-ogre. First half-ogre I've ever had in one of my campaigns. And then let's go, last but not least, tell us about Millie.
Hello, dears. I am Mary Millie Vamptonth. Full name Wilhelmina, but darlings, I don't go by that because I have bad connections to that name. Now, I am a level 1 swashbuckler, and I am a pirate through and through.
Outstanding. All great role players, and we're so excited. Okay, so let me set the scene for you as we begin. So you have made it back. I'm going to do the what happened last time so I can keep it quick. Normally we're going to go ahead and have the players participate in what happened last time. But this party has gathered together in the small town of Hamlet. And in the town of Hamlet, you had joined together. Thank you so much, Judge Merlin. You had joined together with the intent of banding together both for some are more motivated by coin, some are motivated by more altruistic intent and the opportunity to set wrongs right, and particularly Wilnan is very much geared this way. Others in the party are more along for the ride, but you have banded together. Last week, you spent time on a commission that came from the leadership of the town of Hamlet to assist with the transport of a caravan that was carrying payroll to the village of Kron, south of Hamlet. You knew that you would be waylaid by bandits, which had been doing so for other shipments going to Kron previously. And in fact, you were waylaid. You were accompanied by 2 non-player characters, or NPCs. One was Ashrin. Ashrin was a cleric that was there to assist you, and she traveled with you. And then you also had a stunningly beautiful and also somewhat caustic woman that was with you by the name of Halia. Halia traveled with you, and when you were waylaid by the bandits, she assisted in that initial combat. It was a difficult fight. The party overcame in the foothills, the Kron foothills. They overcame the enemy. But then, as they circled back around, you saw that after you finished them off, you saw their encampment was next to some mausoleums. As you went through the mausoleums, you got to the last one, which was Shawl, was the name on it. Shawl, forgotten by all, was the inscription. And Halia seemed very eager to investigate this. She got Liluth, and they actually opened the door, which unleashed a horde of undead, a necrotic priest, several skeletons that came at the party. There was a glowing skull atop an altar. As Halia came in, she did something which appeared to perhaps turn the undead, but instead of turning them away from the party, it simply turned them away from her. She began a cackling laugh after she walked right past you, picked the skull up off the altar, uttered some fairly almost profane and quite deprecating commentary to you, and then turned into a gaseous form and vanished, clearly mocking the party. She said something about the masters that had sent her to spy you out because they had been incorrectly under the assumption that you might actually be a danger, which she now was disabusing them of that notion after having watched you in combat. You finished off the fight. It was very difficult. It was kind of touch and go there for a moment. But you did finish off the fight. You gathered some treasure. There were some gems that were found. There was some gold that was found. There were a few items, nothing of a magical nature with the exception of a minor duiamar and a ring that Liluth found. Everything else, they were just well-crafted items, and you made your way battered back to the town of Hamlet. So that's where we're going to begin. As you come back into the town of Hamlet, you see that it is getting toward the end of the day. And by the way, for all of our players, you're going to want to have a separate screen up with the Twitch stream. All the battle cams will be on that second screen. I'm working on some technology in the future. I don't want to just do it through Zoom as we're doing ours because it really diminishes the quality of the battle sets for the viewers. So it's a live shot, and you can see it on Twitch. So put that on a second screen, an iPad. If you have to a phone, it'll be tough to see. And that's where you're going to see all the battle cams. So you are heading back into the area. Are we getting double audio? Is anyone else hearing double audio? Okay, you're getting reverb on Twitch. Okay, then I'll tell you what I am going to do. I am going to do a quick adjustment here. If you'll give me just a second. I'm going to turn off these. I think it's probably my internal speakers. And I'm going to pop on a headset. I do not want anybody hearing double audio. So that is an easy fix. Thank you very much to our viewers. So you have the... as you enter back into the town of Hamlet, it's late afternoon. The sun is already beginning to set. And your pouches are full of the items. But not only are you weary from the battle, there's also a sting to the betrayal that you suffered from Halia. There is also the slight sting that Liluth still feels from the wayward arrow that she was hit from Wilman in his fumble during that combat.
I managed to one lay on hands per day to heal that.
So the audio might be coming back. I think it might be coming from you, Steve. I'm guessing because you're the only one with that headset on. Still getting double audio.
When I'm not speaking.
Okay. All right. Then we'll just we'll work with this because that's got to be a Twitch thing because there's no way we're getting any feedback through what we've got here. Okay. So. Yeah, blame Millie. So as you make your way back to the those are disabled, Tim. And by the way, Tim, good to see you. I've heard you are among the most nefarious of DMs. Holy smokes! All right, so let's just see here. Forgive me. I don't know why we would be having that. Let me just double check things. Mute all additional channels. Boom. No. All right. And so I was like 5 minutes ago. So
5 minutes ago.
All right, it's almost impossible to hear. It shouldn't be for dramatic effect, but I'm going to make sure I don't have anything on to do it. Yeah, there are mics on the cameras, but none of those are enabled to Twitch. I've been streaming stuff for a long time. I didn't change anything in the last 5 minutes. So I'm sorry, viewers. And no headset. I'm sorry, what were you saying? There, Anna? Yeah, OBS could be doing something, but I don't think so. So I wonder if it was something, like you said, if I switch to the battle cam. So let's switch to a different screen. I don't have my mic set twice. I don't have anything like that. Let me check something here real quick. Here. Okay, I think I see what it did. So yes. All right, does that help at all? Are you hearing less audio, reverb, or any sort of feedback now? There we go. All right. It was a setting. I got that fixed. Thank you so much. All right. You make your way wearily into the inn of the Welcome Wench. You pass the welcoming sign of the buxom lady on the front holding a tankard of ale. There's a good-sized crowd in the inn this evening, and you can see that it's quite busy in the inn this night. And as you enter in, you see several folks look up at you. Some of them recognize you from having just left shortly before. Ostler, who sits behind the bar, actually smiles at you. His wizened, whitened hair, his skin clearly wrinkled from age, having already told you how long he's been manning this inn. And he looks up and smiles as you walk and you take your seats at tables. So I'm going to go ahead and call out as we begin the official...
DM?
Yep.
Our cameras are not in the right spots.
On this view, they are not. Thank you. See? So this is what my players do. Sorry, this is what my players do when they come in at different times. So let me switch back here to this one. And
I'm fine being...
So
Liluth, you're looking very beautiful.
I want to hear Evelyn do a brimstone voice.
Yeah,
Okay.
So yeah, I think we have we're gonna have to make sure everybody comes in the same order, which is is trying to get everybody in early. But of course, with a 5 o'clock start time Central, it is difficult with work schedules, so no problems at all. And we are almost done with these adjustments. Get back to that cam, there and there. So as you walk in, as I said, one other note I want to make is for Brim. Brim, you asked the question in the prelude session that we had on Saturday, whether or not you found yourself being well accepted in the town of Hamlet. And initially, you were told that, it seemed like this is a place that's seen its share of adventurers, and you didn't really notice too much. You now, on the way back in, you realize that you may have judged that too quickly. Even as you walk through the streets of Hamlet, heading back toward the tavern, and you actually noticed that you were getting some sidelong looks. That you saw a woman walking to her children, and she kind of clutched them to her and ducked down an alley. There are some odd looks that you're occasionally getting from people on the street. Certainly not all, but you can sense there is a bit of discomfort on the part of some with the presence of an ogre here.
Okay.
Is this something I notice?
Yes, it is.
Just for precaution, as I do with every town, I make sure to tuck the tusks and pull my upper lip over so I look more monkeyish than ogreish.
All right.
So still 7.5 feet tall.
Yeah, it's hard to hide the girth and the height, right? You can tuck away the tusks a bit, but yeah, you're not looking terribly human no matter what you do.
I do a reassuring punch to the shoulder and a nod.
All right, so just a quick review here so you can see. If you're looking at your screen, you've got this is Brim here, the half ogre. This is Ashrin, who's still with you. This is Liluth right here. Okay. This is Wilnan right here, and this is. I'm sorry, did I say Liluth? This is I meant this is Mary Millie, and then this is Liluth right here. As you walk in, as I said, it's a full tavern. Osler comes walking over towards you from behind the bar, which you did not see him do in your previous time here. And as he steps toward the table, he looks at you again. He splits open in a smile, and he says, "I had not thought to see you again. I've been running this tavern now for nearly 50 years, and I've seen many an adventuring group come and go, but more go than return back. We have had more than our share of hard times in this little town. You would think, being out here in a fairly pastorous rural area, we would not, but in fact it's been a dangerous place. And so I always welcome when I see a group of adventurers return. I understood from Lisden that you had in fact returned successfully with the cargo that you carried to Kron. And so I welcome you back to the Inn of the Welcome Wench, and I'll give you all ale or whatever it is you wish to drink, but I'll make you a deal."
What sort of deal, dearie?
I will. I have my standard ale here, but I have some special stock I reserve for special situations. I can provide some of Schendel's choice, a rich brown lager, or even some Red Hand Triple Black. I have some good ale, and I'll give to others in the tavern. There are several that kind of turn their heads now. You see there's a man in robes sitting with another man that sits atop a wooden platform here. You see some what looks like common townsfolk in the back areas. You see a couple of adventuring sorts. A man with a sword sits right in front of the bar. Their heads sort of turn as though everyone heard the sound of free ale. And he says, but here is my price. I will give ale for tales. So I'd like at least 2 good tales from this group, and I will give my finer stock.
It's an interesting proposition you've placed there, sir.
He kind of chortles. You do have the attention of a few folks now in the inn. There's a kind of a rich ambient atmosphere. There is now a person who's come up to the platform in the back of the inn here, and he's actually got a lute, and he is setting up to play, and also just sort of waits for you.
Wants to know good tales? I'll tell you a tale of a beautiful woman who stabbed me in the back.
That's a very recent tale, though.
It was an arrow to the head, and I appreciate the compliment, but I am not a woman.
Oh, not you.
It seems like our dear druid friend here was referring to our recently departed,
the woman whose name I shall not speak, and not because I just don't remember the name either.
So he says, what do you mean stabbed you in the back? Was it the beautiful lass that was with you when you were here last time? I mistrusted that one, even when I heard her speaking to Zoe. Quite haughty she was.
That's what I said. She was beautiful.
haughty is the understatement of the century, darling. She has something very strange about her.
All right, I'll count that as one tale, though the telling was not very lustrous. Have you another?
Yeah. Sure, Gimble will step up.
The eyes turn to this well-groomed gnome, white hair neatly coiffed, a gentleman's jacket, a gold chain that he wears dangles toward his pocket, and he says,
Yeah, well, if we're just going to tell stories about things that just happened, we were going on this caravan, and we ended up between a couple cliffs, and there's a lot of big scary bad guys, and they were just everywhere. And so I tried to sneak off. I tried to go up, climb a hill, and there was a lot of bad guys up there too. And I just and he'll cast his dancing lights just to add some aerial effects.
The old innkeeper, he applauds a pair of bony hands. Well done, well done. Make yourselves comfortable. Your rooms will be paid for the night, and I will certainly provide for the folks. I think this is a good night for some of my Tyndall's choice, and I will give it to all. And there's a bit of a huzzah. Several people in the tavern kind of raise their existing mugs to you, and the serving ladies then begin passing out mugs to all. You're now to yourself. Yes.
I was wondering perhaps if I could procure something a little stronger. I find myself, my flask is slightly empty, and she pulls it out, and kind of, you can hear a very slight sound of droplets of whiskey against the empty flask. Perhaps I could obtain a refill.
I have some Furandian firewater. I can definitely take care of that, but I can't give that to you for free. It's a bit expensive.
Dear, that's totally fine. What would it cost me?
To fill that flask, I'll need 4 gold.
Okay, you're welcome to it. And she hands him the coin and the flask.
All right, he hands it to one of the serving ladies. She disappears behind the bar. He then goes back, and he gives you another smile and goes back to working behind the bar. You do notice you're occasionally getting glances from a few folks around, and now you're sitting by yourselves.
Once a serving lady comes by with any sort of drink, of course I'm going to say no and ask, I'm sorry, I do not drink. If I could please get a milk, a large tankard of milk, if you have it.
So the serving girl that had come over, she looks like she's in her mid-20s, fairly pretty lass, long red hair, blue dress. She looks at you and she kind of gives you a quizzical look. Are you quite sure? Milk?
If it's not a bother, I would like some milk.
She shakes her head again and she walks off, coming back a few moments later with a mug of milk. She slips it in front of you, and she waves off any coin. It's clearly on the house.
Thank you.
Gimble will tug at Brim.
Brim, does milk make you big like that?
Well, I first had milk when I was 20. So no.
Okay, I thought I would check anyways.
That doesn't mean you can't use some.
Okay.
So there's still a nice patronage in the room. You can do as you like. If you wish to hang out for a while longer and talk, you can. You're all also tired, so you're free to tuck in whenever you like, or if you want to head back out, I mean, it is whatever you want to do. So, this is, as some of you have played with me before, but this is open world stuff, so you can do what you want.
I'm going to actually kind of lean back in my chair with my flask in hand, occasionally taking a sip, and scoping out the other patrons in the tavern.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, you notice there's a man in a robe. He's kind of got his hood pulled up like he wants to be left alone. He's got a heavy-set, kind of older man sitting next to him up at the top of the platform that I showed you earlier. Then you have this dark-haired man. He's wearing leather armor. He's got a sword strapped to his side. He looked over, kind of tipped the mug towards you when he got the free ale. And then you have, of course, the common patrons in the back. You see there's actually a halfling sitting at a table back there. You've got an elderly man sitting at another table, and then the serving folks moving around.
All right.
Lilith will go over to Brim and take his drink, seeing as he's not drinking it.
You're talking about my milk, and I was like,
No, not your milk. Your
I
alcohol.
shove my drink to Lilith. You can have mine as well. Are the shops open at this time, or would I know?
No, you saw most of them were closing up for the night, so they'll be open in the morning, but yeah, they were closed up for the night.
I go out to clear my head, and I search for the nearest poor box to contribute 5 gold, and then I'm going to turn in.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and resolve that quickly. So you walk out. It doesn't take you long. Hamlet is not a very big place, but you do find at the end of a long lane, you find the Church of St. Cuthbert. It's a structure that has 2 wings and a central dome, and they have already closed for the night, but they do have a slot for donations, and they specifically note for the beneficence of all of Hamlet. And you drop how much through?
5 gold.
Okay, so you drop your 5 gold through the slot, trusting that it will be put to good use. You hear the coins clink through the other side. What's everyone else doing?
As Uthar pushes the glass towards me, I'll flinch a little bit, still feeling the sting of that gold.
You kind of give him the subconscious flinch, still recalling his fumble.
I pretend not to notice.
And then he slides the mug over, and you see Lilith comes back to the table, Gimble, and she's actually got 3 mugs in her hands now.
I know I'm little, but that's a lot.
A lot for you. Lilith hasn't really tasted anything like this before, so she's very curious about it and overindulges a little bit.
I like your style, darling. I appreciate a girl who can have a good time. It just makes things so much more interesting. So, tell me, dear, we haven't gotten to know each other very well yet. Tell me a bit about yourself.
Lilith will kind of sit there. She kind of seems wary about trusting Millie, even though she knows her a little bit. She'll look at Millie and say, what do you want to know?
Tell me about where you come from. That always tells me a little bit about somebody. You learn a lot from their roots.
Roots, as in tree roots, right?
Somewhat like that.
I'm from the forest, and that's all I know. I'm just the forest. This is all new to me.
Interesting. Not much to tell. I like a girl with a little bit of enigma. Let me see. And Gimble, you? Where do you come from?
I come from a lot of places, but I think what you mean is I come from Corn. You know, the place we were.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, what about you? Where do you come from?
No, I come from a small place. It's called Radzul in the Kingdom of Hieland. Have you heard of it?
No.
Oh, I don't think so.
Well, there are a lot of really, really rotten people there. So,
But
it was
you were
always
there,
an
right?
exciting idea. Oh yes, but I'm quite much more charming than the rest of them.
Is that like a shiny apple that has a worm on the inside?
No, no. There are also a lot of people who were very tightly woven, wound, very strict. They're so boring. I like a little bit of excitement, don't you know?
Lilith will kind of examine Millie and ask her how she gets her hair like that.
Oh, this? Oh. Well, I have to keep it out of the way, you know. Never know when you might find yourself in a bit of a scuffle. Difficult situation.
You see Wilnan comes walking back in, having done whatever his errand was. In the early evening, he sits back down at the table.
Oh, Uthar, right?
Yeah, Uthar. So, Ashrin...
Where did you hear that name, Wilman?
So,
run off to.
Just on a short errand. It appears the shops are closed. I will do my business tomorrow. So what do we do about this slippery necromancer?
I say we find her and we tear all her pretty hair out.
That's a good plan.
I wish I knew where to begin to look.
Well, I did notice something kind of interesting about her. You see, the night before we went out on our journey, I spent a little time in the tavern trying to learn a little bit about our dear former companion. And those odd chains that she wore. There's something strange about them, and tickled my brain, but I can't quite put where I've seen them before. But I think that's a good place to start, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Ashrin says, she leans over the table. I I get the feeling that may be something that we do need to look into. It was, I think, a key to where she's from. And I think she was in league somehow. Maybe they're connected. I'm just glad we were able to handle those bandits and we survived nearly with our skin. You see the man sitting closest to the end of the table there, I had mentioned earlier. He kind of gets up and steps, gets up and steps back out into the night.
Also, this would be a good thing to note. There was a woman that night who came into the tavern, fitting the description of that woman called Zoe, I do believe, that we were told about, the mage. And Halia seemed quite interested to talk to her. So there might be, well, anyone who associates with dangerous people like her probably are dangerous themselves, though I should have probably guessed that sooner. I feel a little foolish.
Did you get the sense that Halia viewed this woman as a friend or as an enemy?
I could not really tell. She seemed particularly interested in this Zoe character, but I overheard a few words, but I did not understand what to make of them.
So she is staying here.
I do not know. She had come into the tavern, had a drink, and then left. And that was the last I saw of her since then.
Well, it seems if we can, perhaps, if she's still around, she might be someone we could get more information from. But I do think she was supposed to be very dangerous.
Yes, at least we were told, and I would be wary of somebody with that kind of magic. I don't trust magic. It's very fickle.
I'll look over at Gimble when she said she doesn't trust magic.
No, you're fine, dear.
Oh.
I just mean...
Does no magic not count? Or So, does anybody have anything else? I mean, certainly we can continue. I'm going to let you guys role play as long as you want. That's a big part of our stream. I love the minis. I love the combat. But the role play is very important. Story is what we're all about. But I don't want to cut you off. So you can tell me if you want to continue or if you have other things that you want to do before you retire for the evening. You are all feeling certainly quite weary from the last 2 days' events. Your bodies are sore and tired. Many of you still tending minor wounds.
Yes, I think perhaps, as sad as it makes me not to entertain myself a little further this evening, I do believe it's time I get some rest. Good evening. And she just kind of takes off walks away to her room.
Okay, Mary Millie heads upstairs.
Lilith is feeling a little tired after consuming a little bit too much alcohol, so she'll call it an evening as well.
Yeah, go ahead and make a con check for me. Just roll a d20, please.
Hang on a second. 17.
Yeah, and I know your con. Okay, so you see Lilith gets up and she kind of wobbles a little bit. She's barely 5 feet tall. She's slender. She's just down 3 mugs of a stout ale in a short period of time. She kind of waves you off like she's fine, but you see she's kind of wobbling as she heads toward the stairs.
I was trying to keep up with Millie.
Drunk druids.
Perhaps it was a mistake for me to give her my drink.
All right, so anybody else staying down, or is everyone heading up to your rooms?
The man that you mentioned that had got up, what was it? You had said something about him. Was it just a Patreon just leaving, or did we recognize him from the day before?
No, you didn't recognize him. He was sitting kind of in an obvious spot there by the corner, and so I'm just noting any passage back. Everybody else is kind of still drinking. He got up and walked out.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah. I don't know. Brim, are you going to lay down now? I think I'm probably gonna go to mine.
I'm probably gonna have another glass of milk, and then I'll retire.
Gimble will order his size of the equivalents, so it'll still look big to him, but it's going to be small.
Of milk?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Wilman, are you staying down or are you headed up?
I will bid my companions good evening, and I will head up to pray for a few hours before turning in.
The paladin gets up, his chainmail clinking as he walks toward the stairs. He gets a few looks from people in the room, and he disappears up the stairs in a much more steady fashion than Liluth had. So now it's just Gimble and Brim.
I'm gonna raise my mug if the old man and the hooded figure are still hanging over there. I'm gonna raise my mug to either of them, looking at both of them, and not like make a huge show of it, but just like respect. And then put it back down and keep drinking.
So you look over, the old man is still there with him, or still there, but the hooded man was the one I referenced earlier that had walked out. So if you look, and it's just sort of at the edge of the screen there, but he's kind of by himself now here, and the hooded man has gone out. But he lifts an ale to you as well. It's kind of heavy, a little bit overweight. Kind of gives you a nod, but he looks a bit nervous as he does so. He's uncertain if you're perhaps making some sort of threatening advance to him, but he responds in kind.
I look around the room hesitantly and just kind of keep my eyes down.
Okay.
Gimble.
All right.
What's it like being a gnome? How are you treated?
I mean, it has its shortcomings.
I'm going to occasionally do a little bit of OOC here as well, only because we're setting the tone for the campaign, and I'm not normally going to interrupt roleplay like that. But I've warned this party about anachronisms and oddities. However, I want to be clear about that. I love fun in the campaign, and if it's OOC, if there's a moment where there's chatter between the players, not the PCs, I don't mind a little bit of fun. But when we're sort of in the actual roleplay element, that's where I want to see you stay true sort of to the genre, to the age, what we're doing. But something like that is perfectly fine. I love that. That's great. So let's continue on.
I mean, it depends. When I'm back in Corn, it's pretty good. There's quite a few of us there, so it can be good. But I mean, what's it like for you?
It's good. Yeah. Good times. And
I see you hide your teeth. Why?
It's more comfortable that way. Sometimes helps itch the inside of your lip.
You'll see Gimble try to roll his lip over his teeth
Yeah, that's more comfortable.
You see a couple other patrons. The evening is wearing on. They file toward, as they do, they kind of nod over at you as they pass by, still recalling that they had got some free ale. And the tale of what you did has circulated a little bit.
Well, I don't... Why'd you lift your mug to that guy? Do you think we should talk to him?
No. I don't know. I just respect my elders. So him as well as Uthar, I just try and show them both respect.
I like that.
How many people are left in the tavern at this point?
You look around. It looks like there's probably a half a dozen patrons still left in the tavern. It's getting a bit quieter. You see the musician looks like he's getting ready to finish up.
Perfect. Once it's really started to quiet down and people are more drunk than focus on anything around them, I'd like to pull my cloak close and it was nice speaking with you. Good night.
Good night.
You see, almost self-consciously, Brim moves away from the table with his cloak pulled tight. His normally erect posture hunched just a bit as though he's trying to hide his girth, but he does so very poorly. It is utterly unmistakable. As he steps on the first stair, you hear it creaks underneath him, and all the way up the stairs, people kind of turning to look at it as he heads up those stairs, and they hear the creaking of the stairs. Several are kind of smiling and looking over, and some are fearful that it looks like it's about to collapse. And then soon Brim has disappeared.
And within a few minutes, Gimble will make his way to his room.
All right, and Gimble, the final one. So, you hear the sounds of the tavern recede into the distance as you each make your way up to your rooms. Is anybody doing anything in terms of, nightly rituals? Anything you'd like to tell me that you're doing before you retire for the evening? You each find you have individual rooms. They are sparsely accommodated, but quite clean. Furnished with a bed, a nightstand, a single chair, wooden floorboards, and the three of you, Liluth and Millie and Liluth, Millie, and Gimble, you each have rooms with windows. Wilnan and Brim, you're on inside rooms, no windows in your rooms.
Alright, well, before going to bed, I would check my window and make sure it's properly secured. I don't want anybody in here while I'm asleep. And I would take care of my rapier, my dagger, and stash them where they're easily within my reach, but not easily findable by anybody who might have ill intent. And then I just lay down and get some rest.
Okay. Anyone else?
Lilith will sit by the window for a bit, going through all the pockets that she has on her side and all the little things that she has. She remembers that she had that silver brush from Halia that she dropped in there. She just wants to take a look at that before she goes to bed.
Sure. So you look at the brush, and you can see, as I said, it's got a silver handle, it's got a wooden back, it's got a high burnished polish to it, sort of a deep red wood. It's got bristles that you can see still even have some of her light brown locks in them, and nothing else about it. It looks like it's a fairly valuable item.
She'll try to brush her hair with it just at the end, but her hair's so tangled that it'll get stuck, and she'll kind of try to yank it out a bit, and then she'll just put it back in her pocket. And
so it is noted in the campaign, the first time the Greyhawk has combed her hair. Anyone else?
Gimble will just take his hat off, and take his spell book and lay him down fairly close to his bed, and just have a couple moments of just solitude.
Okay.
And then he'll lay down.
All right, and Brim and Wilnan, any final instructions?
I'm going to, for one, very happy that I don't have a window, and then I'm going to neatly derobe and put everything in a nice folded pile in a corner, and then I'd like to look at the bed. How big is the bed?
you see you have actually been placed in a bed which is sized for you. It's a good 8-foot long bed. So clearly, the innkeeper had done some, has seen your kind or similar types before, and so you were well taken care of by Ostler as he provided this room for you.
Snap. And does the door have a lock?
It does. All the doors have a latch on them that you can slide across.
Perfect. I'll do that and say my prayers for the evening.
Okay.
And then go to bed.
Thus continuing the legend of the most peculiar half-ogre ever. Wilman?
I spend time carefully polishing my chainmail and preparing my armor and inspecting and tending to my weapons and armor. I spend an hour in what might appear to be meditation, but I am actually just closing my eyes and listening to everything around me. I am attempting to identify if I can identify people walking around and who I think they might be, and just trying to get a sense of what is around me and awareness outside of myself. And then I spend the next hour in prayer, praying for the success of our party to find Halia, praying for the effectiveness of the alms I have contributed, and praying that Heronius would show me the way. And then I turn in.
Outstanding. During your meditative time, you do in fact begin to feel sort of attuned. You hear the sounds, the creak of the floorboards as various patrons that are staying there for the evening move to their rooms. You hear the clink of glasses downstairs as Ostler and the serving girls begin to clean up from downstairs. You hear slowly people retiring till your eyelids grow heavy, and soon all are asleep. So one other item for you. You do, during the last moments of your meditation, you feel that sense of unease. Not exactly the same that you felt it 3 nights ago when you were first leaving Hamlet, but similar. You can't put your finger on it. It's not overwhelming, but just a sense of a discomfort, almost like that, grain of sand in your shoe. You retire for the evening. And hey, thank you very much for the follow. So it's sometime in the middle of the night. You're not sure when, but Millie, you hear something strikes your window and rouses you from your sleep.
I shoot up and I immediately grab my rapier and my dagger and I go to see what's at the window, see what I can see.
As you go to the window, you look out, you don't see anything. It's an alleyway that you're looking out onto. And as you look into the alleyway, something catches your eye. You see thunk, a very small crossbow bolt lands on the outside of the wooden window casing, and you can see there's something wrapped on it.
All right. I'm going to take a moment, make sure there's nothing else seemingly pointed in my general direction. I will unlock the window and I will grab that crossbow bolt.
All right. You kind of pull it off. The night air is quite chill already. It's getting to be sort of a late fall period. And as you pull it off, you see there's a small sheet of paper that's wrapped around the crossbow bolt.
Okay, I'll take the paper and I'll close my window and lock it back.
Okay.
And I will open it.
Slam the window back in its casing. You open it up, and there is a neatly scrawled handwriting that says, "Meet me outside, behind the inn, now. I have information for you on the bandits that you need to know."
Do I recognize this handwriting, perchance?
No, you don't. It doesn't look familiar to you. And there's no signature, just at the end it simply says, "Come alone."
This sounds like a bit of a sticky problem. Alone. That never ends well. Let me see. What would I do? I'm going to take my things. I'm going to strap my dagger back to my leg where I wear it. I'm going to secure my rapier to my belt, and I am going to slip out of my room as quietly as possible and head down the stairs, hopefully without being terribly noticed.
Okay. As you do so, you head down the stairs. You see the inn is quiet. All is dark down below. There is a tallow candle which burns low, giving you just enough light, casting strange illuminations against the walls. It's quite eerie to see this, a tavern like this empty at night. And you see there is a bolt slid across the front door.
All right. I'm just going to slide the bolt then and slip out into the night and see if I can locate this mysterious note sender.
So it is, it is the way of such things in the quiet of the night. As you pull open the door, it sounds exceptionally loud as it creaks open. And you hear the sound of the night air. A cool breeze blows. And don't adjust your cameras at home. This is the DM in night mode. And you see there are stars out in the sky. It's a clear night, cold breeze, as I said. There's no one on the streets.
I'm going to look around and see if I can spot anyone in the shadows that looks like they're waiting for me.
So remind me of your perception, please.
Oh yes, that is a +8.
You don't see anything. As you're looking, something catches your eye quickly, and it's just a rat that scurries off into another alleyway, but nothing else catches your eye.
And where did the note say for me to meet this person again?
Around the back of the inn.
Around the back of the inn. So, I'm going to continue on, and I'm actually, I'm going to try to stealth, and move quietly around.
Okay. And your stealth is?
+5.
And as you know, there are certain things which I roll because you don't necessarily know if you're successful or failing. Now, of course, if you step on a twig, then but you might think you're being quieter than you are. Or if you check for a trap, you might think you've successfully looked, but if you've missed that, you wouldn't know that you would miss that in many situations. So I let the players roll many things, but there are certain things which I roll. You make your way around the alleyway and toward the back of the inn. As you do so, there's sort of a tension in the air. You come around the corner toward the back of the inn. I'll place you here. And you see an empty alleyway before you.
I don't like this. Not one bit. Yes. Well, if this message sender thought their message was so important, they would have probably made themselves present. So...
You hear...
I'm...
Psst. Hey. There's a voice. Comes from down. You see a hand just sort of waves around the corner back here at the back of the alley around this corner, and it beckons towards you.
No, darling, show yourself.
There's silence.
I'm not still alive today for trusting people, sir, so if you care to share something with me, you better show yourself, otherwise I'm going back to bed.
So you say that, and kind of looking down the alleyway, but not proceeding, down further in the alleyway. You kind of get an angle. You don't see anything there. You don't see the figure, and there's no response.
Very well. Apparently whatever you had to say wasn't that important, so I bid you adieu. And I turn on my heel.
All right. As you spin around on your heel, you see there's a figure standing right in front of you. It looks a bit like this. Dark in the alleyway. He has two blades held before him. And you can even see in the dim light, there's a smirk on his face.
Hello. And who might you be?
He says, "Oh, my name's not important. You won't be around long enough for it to matter." He smiles, and you see the blades kind of glint in the moonlight. "You shouldn't have messed with places that didn't belong to you. You've already made some powerful enemies, and I don't think you're going to have to worry about that very long." And he starts advancing towards you.
All right, well, let's see. I am going to pull my dagger and my rapier at the ready.
Okay.
I think, sir, you greatly underestimate me.
We shall see. And it is then initiative.
All right.
DM has a 2.
I have a 6.
Okay, then you have initiative.
All right, let's see what I can do here. Let's see. Not that one. Not that one. That one I'm saving. All right, so let's just do a little bit of attacking, shall we? So I'm going to strike with my rapier first, and then follow with my dagger. So that my first attack is a 16.
Okay. As you strike out with your blade, you see the figure moves with remarkable agility. It slips right past, barely even touches his robes. You hear a chuckle coming from him.
Did you come to play, or did you come to fight?
He doesn't respond, but you sense a deadly grace in his movements.
The dagger is a 21.
A 21 just hits.
All right. So that's 1d4 plus 3. So 4 points of damage with the dagger.
Okay. So you do catch him with the dagger coming up. He didn't expect that second blade. You hear he gives a slight grunt. And then he moves in quickly, spinning 2 blades in a complex pattern, very agile. The first attack.
And when he attacks, I'm going to use opportune parry and riposte to use one of my panache points.
Thank you, Lurkenstein. And so you have just gained an advantage. Lurk, by the way, we've changed it to 200 for advantage. So you have 100 that goes toward the next advantage, just so we don't overburden the game with that. I'm sorry, repeat what you said, Millie?
I said I'm going to spend a panache point to use opportune parry and riposte.
Okay, go ahead.
And that just, let's see.
Subtracts from his to hit roll.
Yeah, so it's a -2, I think. Hold on. So I roll against it, right?
Right, exactly. And then I'll subtract it from my to hit roll.
Okay, and so that's a. I take -2 on this, so that's 12.
12. Okay. As he comes in with the first blade, you take your dagger, metal on metal, you turn the blow away. You see his second blade comes immediately right behind it. And it finds purchase. You feel it slides up your ribs, right through the leather armor that you're wearing. And you take 6 points of damage.
Okay.
You hear him chuckle as he does so, and now I need you to roll a d20 for me, please.
All right. Let's see. That's 15.
In the middle of combat, you still have the presence of mind. You hear footsteps behind you.
Not very fair bringing friends, darling. So I'm actually going to make my way back toward the inn. I will take the attacks of opportunity. I want to try to slip past him. And doing that, I'll actually, use another panache point to do my dodging panache. So.
Okay, so you're going to try to slip past him.
Yes.
So describe for me how you're going to do that, because he's standing, as you can see, right here. So this is him. He's standing in front of you. He slipped down from somewhere behind you. This is you, and the entrance to the inn is back around this way, so behind him. So how are you going to get past him?
So basically, I was trained by an expert swordsperson, and I know how to find openings when I can. So I'm going to actually slip under his arm, slide down, duck under, and scurry back as fast as possible.
Okay, and then you are, in so doing, you're going to take an attack of opportunity. I will permit you then to use your dodging panache. However, we're gonna cut that in half because you're also making this dodging movement. So we're gonna take this in 2 steps. First, you're gonna roll that to see if you're struck with the blow, and then secondly, you're gonna make the roll for the success of this movement. This is not going to be easy. This man is very quick. Okay, go ahead and roll.
So for the dodging panache, that is a. Should I add anything to that, dex or anything?
Yeah, you'd add your dex to that.
12, and then dex is 16.
All right. As you move to sort of duck down and almost roll underneath him, you see the blade coming at the last minute. You shift your body weight more to the left. You roll on your left shoulder. You hear the blade hit the ground. Now I need you to roll a d20. This is going to be a combat maneuver. So add your CMB.
So CMB. So that's 19.
You pull it off, surprisingly. So you duck, you hear the blade hit the ground, sparks fly. As you roll and come to your feet, you hear him curse. Then you hear some almost a static electric charge in the air.
I'm going to just move as fast as my movement will allow me to get back to the inside the inn.
All right. You turn. And you begin sprinting back toward the door of the inn. As you round the corner, go ahead and make a dex check for me, please.
Okay, this one.
I have a question, DM.
Natural 20!
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Rory?
Just a question. You said that there's a window in Gimble's room. Is this the same side? Would he?
Yeah, so that's actually that's a very good point. Thank you for that, because I meant to mention that earlier. I need both Gimble and Liluth. I want you to both please roll d20, and let's add your perception. I'm not going to tell you the DC that you're rolling against, but go ahead and roll that for me.
Rolled a 5.
Okay, you are sound asleep. Those 3 ales, they have pounded you into the ground. Rory?
I'm not sure where to find that just yet, but I rolled a 14.
Yeah, it's okay. And your intelligence, yeah, okay. So actually, Rory, you're a pretty light sleeper, and you hear the sounds of it sounds like steel on steel outside your window. What do you do?
I guess he would first get up to see what this sound is. Does he see that Millie is out there, or?
Well, actually, so you get up as you move towards your window. Millie, as you duck around the corner, you hear a sound, and a flash of electricity moves right past you, scorches into the building across the street. With a blackened char behind it. You feel the hair stand up on the back of your neck. You can smell the burning smoke and the static electricity in the air. You dart around the corner toward the door. I need you to roll initiative again.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, you are fortunate. A 1 for the DM. All right. You manage to get to the door. You hear footsteps in hot pursuit.
I'm going to turn the door and open it.
Okay. So you get to the door.
Slide in.
And you sprint through the door. And as you turn to slide it, I need you to roll one more d20 for me. You hear the footsteps immediately outside the door.
I'm going to roll this one with advantage since I was given
The one you got, yes?
Yes, I'm going to use it.
Thank you, Lurkenstein.
To use it. That is a 15.
So as you're moving toward the door, you hear the footsteps coming. You rush to grab the latch. Your hands are shaking under the tension of it. You grab it and you try to pull it closed. As you do so, thunk, you hear the latch go in. You hear something slam against the door, and you have successfully reached the inside of the inn.
That was very unfortunate.
You hear a voice from the other side. It won't be long. And then you hear some sort of what sounds like chanting.
All right, so I'm going to move quietly as much as I can up the stairs because I don't want to alert everybody in the inn, and I'm going to go knock on my companions' doors and see if I can awaken them.
Okay, so you move through each of the doors up in the inn. Rory, you saw this flash of light down below. What are you doing?
So did I see just silhouettes of?
Yeah, that's all you see. You saw, like, you were blinded because when you started to look outside, you didn't see anything but a blinding flash of electricity. And by the time sort of the image was cleared from your retinas, it was an empty alleyway.
I suppose Gimble's just going to kind of just grab his hat and his book and sit on the edge of his bed. There's no reason for him to go do anything other than just kind of like a little bit on edge that something like that just happened.
Okay, all right. And so you then hear footsteps coming up, and the first door on the right is Wilnan's door. Wilnan, you're roused from sleep with a knock.
Yes. What is it?
We have a bit of a situation.
I immediately grab my sword and open the door.
Some odd people are afoot outside, and I think we ought to see if we can do anything about that.
Are you harmed?
You can see that her coat looks a little singed actually from some of the stray electricity caught the tail of her coat, and she has a couple of cuts across her torso.
You hear the door open down below.
I grab my shield and I rush downstairs, but just staying on the staircase to check out what's going on.
All right, so you see Wilnan rushes down. So now you don't have your chainmail on. So, right? Okay, so you got your sword, you grabbed your shield, so your AC drops by 6, right? So your AC right now would be sitting at a 12 because you have dropped that shield. As you go rushing down the stairs, what are you doing now, Millie?
I'm going to see if I can at least get the rest of the party together as quickly as possible. I am not going to be moving stealthily anymore. I want to definitely get them and get them now.
All right, so you're going to each door. You hear this immediately, Gimble. You hear her moving from door to door, and as she does this, what are you doing?
Once I recognize that it's Millie and that she's awakening us, that I'd pop my head out the door and, Millie, is that you?
Panther!
His eyes will just like go wide open.
What have I done?
Where's the panther?
The chaos, bad things come along now.
Okay,
Just
so
scurry out and throw his hat on and follow.
all right, in moments, Millie has woken all of you. We're now going to go back to Wilnan. Wilnan, as you come walking down the stairs, and I'll drop this back to the dim night. And there is a single, as I said, tallow candle that's burning. And you come down the stairs. As you come walking down the stairs, you immediately see there's someone standing at the base of the stairs. That same figure that I showed earlier. He stands at the base of the stairs, two blades drawn, glinting in the night. And you see a second figure behind him and a low chuckle.
I call out to arms. To arms! To arms! Identify yourself, fiend.
Oh, there'll be none of that. And he comes rushing up the stairs with almost supernatural speed. As he lunges at you, that's where we're going to take our break. So thank you very much, everybody. Man, what great chat, what great support. It's going to be a quick break. We're probably going to just do a quick 5-minute bio break. Everybody can get water, use the restroom, whatever you need to do. And when we come back, we're going to have the first of our 2 giveaways today. I said if we had a good session and good viewership and good participation, I would do 2, and we've had great. I love it. So we're giving away this guy, a Dragon Crafting Guild dice tray. These things are beautiful. Dragon Crafting Guild dice trays. Every player's best friends in his hand, every player's worst enemy in the DM's hand. By the way, I made that up. We're going to give that away after the break. And then, of course, we still have the box set from Greyhawk coming up toward the end of the stream. And this is not a super long stream. These things run about 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on which week. And so that will be giveaway will be coming up in just a little bit. So thank you so much to all of our viewers, all the great chat. We're going to break off for just about 5 minutes, and we'll come right back with our Dragon Crafting Guild dice tray giveaway. Use the restroom, get yourself a drink of water, a cup of coffee, and come right back.
Cup of milk.
Cup of milk.
A cup of milk. I would have popped my head off if I heard panther. That's our new word.
Panthers and milk. Panthers and
Panthers
milk.
and milk.
What do you call yourselves, adventurers?
I'm going to leave you guys on hot mics, by the way, so you can feel free to chat with the viewers as you like.
Panthers and milk.
Cool. Yeah, I don't think I have to use the bathroom. I'll need to use it like halfway through the video.
Probably. Alright, Panthers and milk, is that what it is?
I hope not. Gosh.
Why not?
I was thinking of like, what's a group of panthers called?
I don't know, Google it.
Milk steadily spikes.
As milk
Claw.
sales steadily spikes. A what? A claw?
A claw. The cord of the claw.
The cord. That's good.
Isn't White Claw a drink?
Yes, we could be the black
White Claw? What about white claw, because white for milk?
White for milk. That's why I said it.
You guys.
White for milk, and then claw for panther. The white claws.
The milky claw.
The milky
claws.
The milky panthers, yeah.
Oh god.
White claws.
White claws.
What do you know thyself as? We are the Milky Panthers.
Oh gosh, why?
Does anyone?
Because it's a long story.
Yeah, for those listening, who likes White Claw? not the drink, not the drink. I mean the
not
name.
the drink, as a name, as an adventure name group. Let's go to the lobby and get ourselves a snack. Ooh.
Yes, I do need that new chair.
Lactose cougars.
Cougars. I hate you all.
I love y'all.
The lactose.
cougars.
White Claw thumbs up. See, they like White Claw.
So White Claw or the lactose cougars?
I mean, the lactose cougars
This
is hilarious.
horrible. Lactose homies.
Although, I mean, claw specifically feeds into the point of the phrase.
Okay.
The
lactose claws.
The lack of toes.
Lack of toes claws. It's a cute name.
Oh gosh.
Lactose panthers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But if it's lactose.
Lactose raiders. Sounds like milky toast.
Dairy defenders.
This is being someone that's lactose intolerant. This hurts me.
Is that why you're drinking a big glass of milk?
Yeah, that's we're allowed to live out our fantasies. Okay.
Okay, in
Big glass of
D&D,
milk.
that's why you've had like 3 glasses of milk, because
We just
in real
gotta
life,
make
you would have
we gotta
violent
make sure-
diarrhea.
Straight to the vein.
We got to make sure though, if it's lactose panthers, that you got to separate those words out. That it's lack of toes.
Lack of toes panther?
That's terrifying. We should just call ourselves Stumpy Panthers.
Lack
A long ways from White Claw.
That is a long way from.
Oh man.
Steve, what do you think?
Dairy defenders.
I have no words.
Ben, you sound like my parents.
Lack of toes panthers.
Oh man. What should we? Oh my gosh, what should we?
I was so happy at work today. Someone got my joke. No one ever gets my jokes.
Me.
Yeah, that's true. I am happy when you get my jokes.
Okay.
And we're talking about this the city in California, and it's called Gusto or something like that.
Okay.
And the other worker said, "Well, where's that by? Or where's Gusto or whatever?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Wherever it's windy."
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Perfect,
yeah.
Evelyn, you came in time. Our new group name is Lactose Panthers.
No.
That's our adventuring group name. We went from White Claws
Okay.
to Lactose Panthers.
I thought it was super cool because like a panther group is a claw, and
Yeah.
so
Right.
we can make something along a claw name, but then we went to White Claw because of milk and claws, and
And now we're the Lactose Panthers.
Yes.
That's what we are. Oh, lack of toes Panthers. That's what they said.
please no.
I think that qualifies as a
Brimstone
Greyhawk
will
fan.
retire.
See? Only Greyhawk fans get it.
The
Yeah.
Grey Claws.
All right, so we're going to be back here in just a second. And thank you, viewers, for hanging with us through the break. We'll announce our first giveaway here in just a second. And as I'm getting ready to do that, I'm going to switch back over here to the monitor. And let me pull this back up. You saw just a bit of it earlier. I can't shout this out enough. So this is, of course, the work of the incredible Anna B. Meyer. And this is the Greyhawk. It's the 576 map, essentially, which is sort of the classic map. But it's modified to include content that comes from the world that has been run now by 40 years by Jay. And I'm kind of cooperating with him on several of the customizations that have been built here, which include all of the things associated with the Order of Ulek, which happens down here in the Principality of Ulek. Now, where we're at, and you might remember this from last time, so let me just show you the big map again. And so Josh, as you're looking at your Darlene maps from your Glossography 1983 box set, what you're going to want to do is look just southwest of Ferriondi here, which will be kind of to the west of Greyhawk. So this is the free city of Greyhawk here, so you can make this your North Star as you look around the map. And hang on, let me turn down this music just a bit. Touchy. So down here, these are the Cron Hills. Okay, so this is where, for example, Gimble has told you that he is from. I won't tell you where Liluth is from, since she chose to be coy about it and just tell you it was a force, and that was all you got to know. But as you scroll in, you're going to see here, this is the area of Valuna where Hamlet is. And you have Hamlet right here. You have Cron. This is the village that you traveled to last time with the goods. You returned back to Hamlet. And then you have other areas around here, very well-known towns like Nulb. You have the area of Verbabank, which is a viscounty or viscounty. And then, of course, a greater Valuna. So this is the area that you were in, Cron Hills, right next to the Lort Mill Mountains. And this is, again, all the incredible work of Anna B. Meyer. World of Greyhawk, one continent is better than your world. And so there is the Flyness. So very, very cool stuff. All right, time for our giveaway. And here's how we're going to do this. For this Dragon Crafting Guild dice tray giveaway, thank you. An elf just brought me a cup of coffee. Or also known as Captain Cade Cardinal.
Hello, fellow pirate.
Yes. All right. So what you're going to do now is you're going to, in the chat, I need you to type a command, which is going to be, let me pull it up here and make sure I've got the right one. It's going to be an exclamation point, capital D, dice tray. Exclamation point, dice tray with a capital D, all one word. So don't separate dice and tray. Just capital D, ICETRAY. Type that in the chat. You'll be automatically entered to win this beautiful Dragon Crafting Guild. Get a look at that. It's got a big dragon's eye in the middle of it. He does this really cool sort of lightning finish lacquer. So just type dice tray in the giveaway box. And we're going to leave that open for just a minute or so. While we're doing that and waiting for folks, any other questions that we have so far, either from the viewers or the players, on any mechanics, how things have happened or why they've happened to this point?
So, question. You had asked for a perception check or a stealth check earlier. In 3.5 turns, would that be a hide or a search check?
Yes, exactly. And yes, and so use those for now. And I'm going to get with each of you, make sure you understand, all the terminology, because again, we moved from 3.5 and we're using some 1E, 2E elements. Of course, you guys are 5E players. I do not want additions to confuse people. Ultimately, the addition and the rules will fade to the background as the story and the role play become, but the rules are the framework to make everything sort of connected and contiguous and to make it feel real and alive. And so we'll work together on that. But yeah, that'd be fine for now.
Cool.
Okay, so we've got several enter. We're going to give it just another moment or so, and we're going to give away this super cool dice tray. So I'm going to pull up my. That's right, exactly. So it's 3.5 base. Asher, thank you for that, Rox. Roxafarius already answered it. It's a 3.5 base, but I use some 1E, 2E elements to bring that classic feel. I don't like the overmuch effort to completely balance everything, player classes, spells. Balance can be left to the DM to run. So I don't like quote unquote nerfing classes and spells. So I use some of those 1E, 2E elements, and then there's the one element that I bring forward from 5E, which is advantage. That's the only 5E element to the game. Everything is basically core 3.5. All right, so we have, hey, Orion Noir, good to see you again, sir. And I'm going to go ahead and kill the giveaway now. And we have several that are entered. So I'm going to click the roll it, and it should pop in the chat window. And why is it saying, oh, hold on, users, there we go. Boom. And it's Shane O'Mac. Yay, oh, Shane O'Mac. Now, Shane, you were one of our longtime viewers, and there was no benefit given to subs or even followers. This is a wide open opportunity tonight. Shane, if you already have a dice tray, you can let me know, and I'll re-roll. Or I'll send you a second dice tray, and I can get you something else, like a hoodie, or I can get you one of these great blue box mugs. So Shane, drop us a chat and let us know if you already have a dice tray. I can't remember. Do you remember, Evelyn?
I do not remember. We've given a few dice trays away.
Yeah.
So. All
right. Well, we're gonna put that for Shane O'Mac for now, and if he pops on and tells us he has one already, I'm gonna keep this. I can actually do a re-roll on it, and I'll do that if he already has one. Hey, thank you so much for the follow, Krenzlin. And so we're gonna jump right back into the gameplay, and we'll be giving away that Greyhawk box set, within the hour. That's going to be happening. So thank you again to all of our viewers. Thank you to all of our support, and let's resume. So we are in the normally safe haven of the Welcome Wench, and we have Wilnan, who is charged down the stairs without, basically in his bathrobe, more or less. He doesn't have his chainmail on, but he does have his shield and his blade. And the remaining members of the party are all being roused from their sleep. And so I'm going to kick off, and I need an initiative roll from you, Wilnan.
Oh dear.
And DM has a 3.
I also have a 3.
So roll again.
Five.
All right, you have a 5. My second roll was another 3, so you have it. So you see what I described earlier. You see the man with 2 blades. Hey, thank you very much, Lurk. That gives you a second advantage. So just let us who you'd like to give that to. Pardon me for the camera wonkiness there.
Steve got the advantage.
Okay, well timed. This is the very first session, Stolok. So we had a prelude session last weekend. You're in session 1, so you have not missed anything in the story. It's a great time to pop in. It's technically session 2, but the first one was session 0. It was a prelude. This is the actual main campaign story. So you're in at the beginning. Make sure you let any of your friends know as well. We'd love to have as many viewers join us. It's great to start a campaign at the very beginning. All right, so you see here now. You see the gentleman I showed you earlier. Gentleman, use that term loosely. And you recognize a robed figure standing in the doorway as the same man that you saw below in the inn earlier that night. And let me go back to the more darkened scene. The tallow candle that burns on the one table is all the light that you have down there, and you have initiative.
All right, I'm using power attack, which is my feat. So -1 on base attack, but +2 to damage if I connect. And I'm presuming that this fiend is evil, so I'm going to attempt to smite them as well. By Heronius I smite thee!
Okay, and there is nothing to roll on that, so smite is automatic. So you now have those bonuses that are so. But remember, and for those of you that aren't familiar with 3.5, the smite gives you a bonus to AC. It gives you a bonus to hit, and it gives you a damage bonus based on your level and your charisma modifiers, respectively. But it only applies to the creature that you have smitten. So if there's a multiple creature party, so for example, in this case, your smite will apply. You get the armor class benefit, the attack benefit on that guy, but it does not apply to that guy. Make sense?
Makes
All right,
sense. Roll
to hit.
2. Oh man, here we go again.
A 2. You call upon Heronius, and
7 total.
So he has judged you not yet prepared in this first round. You swing, and it's almost laughable how quickly this man dodges out of the way of your blade. You hear him snickering. I go to the rest of the party. What are you all doing?
As soon as everyone else is awake and I've told them to come with me, I'm gonna start heading back towards Uthar and the others.
All right, is anyone doing any? I need to I need to know: are you rushing downstairs? Are you stopping to grab something, put something on? Let's just quickly go. You tell me what you're doing. So I've got Millie's. What about you, Brim?
I'm putting on my leather armor.
All right, so you stop to put on your armor. And Jackbull. Oh, the gnome love. By the way, he said something earlier that cracked me up. I didn't want to interrupt the role play at the time, but he said something about like death to hamstrings, in the support of the gnome. So Gimble, you have advantage. Gimble, what are you doing?
I'll go to at least the closest to the bottom of the stairs.
Okay, so you're going to move down the stairs then. All right. So Gimble moves down the stairs. Millie, you're coming down the stairs as well. Mm-hmm. You guys won't be able to do anything this round. Liluth, what about you?
Oh, Vivi, you have no sound.
Hello.
There we are.
Okay, as soon as Millie shouts Panther, Lily will pop her head immediately outside the door. And she'll see her probably most likely bleeding. Would I be able to
Yes, you do. You see blood streaming down her side.
I'll cast Virtue on Millie.
All right.
Right.
And remind everyone what Virtue does.
Okay, so with a touch, you infuse the creature with a tiny surge of life, granting the subject 1 temporary hit point.
Okay, so you feel a touch from Liluth as you go rushing by her door, and you feel Virtue enter into you. It just takes a touch of the sting off of your wound. You're still badly damaged.
All
All right. So Lilith, you're going to still be upstairs for this round. That was your action. You're still going to be upstairs for this round, Brim, as you're putting on your armor. And we have just the other two. We have Millie and also Gimble that have reached downstairs. Now we go back to the combat. Wilman, you see the two blades flash quickly through the night. The man's wearing dark leather armor and a dark cloak, that covers his head, but you can see the gleam of his teeth in the light. Oh my goodness! Thanks, Judge Merland. Wow. Okay. He attacks. The first blow is a solid hit, and the second one
And my
just
AC right
misses.
now, while it's 12, it adds 3.
It adds 3, so you're at a 15, right? Yeah, right.
15, okay.
Yeah, because your smite with this character, so you got a general 12, but you got a 15 against him, and that is exactly what saved you from being hit on that second attack. So as the first blow comes, you feel his blade catches you right in the thigh. It digs deeply into the thigh, almost touches bone. You feel a shock of pain go up your leg. As the second blade comes around, your sword moves to block, and you can almost feel the guidance of Heronius as it knocks his blade out of the way, and he fails to hit you with the second attack. From the first attack, you take 4 points of damage. You see the mage steps into the room, stands behind him, and he pulls something out of his pouch and starts to make a motion with his hands. We go to initiative, next round.
And everyone just gained an advantage from our lovely friend.
All right, so
here.
everybody in the party has 1, and Gimble has 2. Very, very timely assistance from our viewers. Thank you very much, viewers. And don't adjust if you're late joining us, don't adjust your cameras at home. It's supposed to be dark. They're in a dark inn. They're in the welcome wench, but everybody else is asleep. You can hear doors starting to open now upstairs as well. Other patrons are clearly being disturbed. You hear the voice of Osler Gundigoot. What's going on out there? What's happening? Initiative roll.
Steve, since you won last time.
Yeah, you won last time. So the way we're working initiative is group party initiative, D6, right? And you're going to continue to roll as long as you win initiative. If you lose initiative, we're going to rotate to the next player for the next round. And this time the DM has initiative. The assassin in black, his blades flash again. The first one finds purchase. As you dodge away, it strikes your arm. The second one does the same. You feel a blow that comes from the other side. You take 2 hits. The first one does 3 points of damage, slicing open your shoulder. The second one, you take 4 more points of damage. As he catches the forearm of your right hand, blood slicks down your arm. Are you still conscious?
I am.
Okay. Then you hear the mage, and he utters a syllable, and he points his hand toward the 3 of you. I need all 3 of you to make a will save DC 14. Will save DC 14.
I'm going to use my advantage for this one. Since
That's a good time to use it. I'm not going to give you too many hints, but yes.
Is advantage where you add the 6?
No, you go ahead and roll a second. So you're going to roll 2 D20s, and you take the better of the 2.
Higher number.
Okay.
16.
18.
Very fortunate, very fortunate. And then lastly, Gimble.
I'm trying to find my ad, but I rolled a 10.
You might. So the will save would be your best save.
That's wisdom-based save.
Wisdom is a 10 plus 0.
Yeah, okay. You see as Gimble comes running down the stairs, he gets to the base of the stairs, and he falls over asleep.
Oh, dear.
The gnome is down on the job. Actually, what I'll do is I'll put you dead is face down. Sleeping, unconscious, stunned will be face up. All right, Brim, it's going to take you 1 more round to get your leather armor on, right? You can't do that in 6 seconds. You, however, Lilith, you come running down the stairs as well.
Okay.
And you see this. You see Gimble as he collapses to the floor. Your eyes go wide. You see blood streaming from Wilnan's shoulder, from his arm, from his forearm. He's got a stab wound that's bleeding down onto the floor in his leg. He already looks, a bit wobbly on his feet. And it is initiative. No, you're around. Sorry. You lost that time.
Yes.
So go ahead, Wilnan.
Me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to strike him again.
Okay.
That is a roll of 10, plus 3, plus 3, 16.
16. You swing your blade, and it's a pretty good swing, but again, he's remarkably quick. He dodges away as he spins. You feel your blade come up. It catches the cloth of his cloak, but does not make contact with his flesh. Millie.
Just a note, by the way, the elves are immune from sleep effects. That includes half-elves. So in case that happens again, we are immune from those effects. So I'm going to move into melee range with this fellow.
Okay.
And I am going to attack him again with my rapier and my dagger.
All right, so you close. That's just barely 5 feet. So you jump off the wooden platform at the base of the stairs. You land nimbly. Easy for you to get your full attack.
Oh, darling, I don't appreciate cheaters. Unless I'm the one doing the cheating, of course. That's 21.
That is a hit.
And then my dagger is that's just a 13.
That is a miss. So your first blade, you swing out. He's spinning away from Wilnan's blade. He spins right into yours. You catch him square in the middle of the back. You open up the leather and the cloak that he's wearing. Roll damage.
That is 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And hold on here. I lost my pencil. Okay, here we go. All right. You see he's bleeding, but he does not look badly hurt yet. Then Gimble's out. Liluth, you're not getting an attack this round. They attack. The assassin, he spins toward you, Millie, as he feels your blade cut across his back. And he attacks.
All right. I'm actually, since I'm going to use another panache point.
How many of those do you get, by the way, per day?
I have 5.
So you have 2 remaining after this, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm going to do opportune parry and riposte again. So I'm going to roll against that.
Okay.
7.
Okay, so I've already rolled both attacks, and you parry and riposte goes on the first attack, and it was very fortunate for you. The first attack would have been a hit. The second attack was a miss. As he comes, he spins around at you. Again, you take your blade, you turn it away, you knock his blade out of the way. You hear him curse as he brings his dagger up. You pull back. It kind of scores the front of your leather armor, but does not catch skin.
And as I block it, I'm actually going to give him a little eyebrow, like, you try, darling.
The mage that stands behind him, he looks at Liluth, and he utters a word, and you see missiles of glowing electricity fly from his hand straight towards you. You take 7 points of damage. Several of them hit you. They're not tremendously powerful as they hit you, but you're hit by at least 4 that you could count. There might have been 5.
Okay.
All right. And now we go to initiative. DM has a 3. And you lost last time, Steve, right? So we're going to rotate this to Gimble's out. Millie was already here. Millie, you're going to roll for initiative now.
Oh, right. Okay. I have a 5.
All right. DM3, you have it with the 5. Again, reminding our viewers, this is Mary Millie. This is the Paladin of Heronius, known as Wilnan. This is Gimble, taking a nice nap at the base of the stairs. And let me move over here so you can see. This is our Greyhawk druid, and you hear now a thunk, 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 thunk upstairs. You see, appearing at the top of the stairs is the massive half-ogre Brim. He bounds down the steps in a single leap, thunk, and crashes on the floor. You will not get an attack this round. All right, we go to you, Millie.
All right. Well, I'm going to do what I do best and start swinging the rapier, and then the dagger. So, rapier first is a 19.
Okay, that just misses as you swing.
Oh, dang it.
You swing the rapier again. He just turns the blade away with remarkable speed.
The dagger.
Buckle in, Swash.
A 19 again, so yeah.
Okay, you do not find purchase with your blade. Wilnan.
I swing again because I'm in a rage and that's all I can manage to do.
And you do have an advantage if you wish to use it, but you have to declare it before the roll.
Which I will use at the same time.
I'll let you do that this time, all right? But for just because you're newer to this, but that must be declared before the roll next time. So,
Okay.
all right.
Okay. So 18 is the roll, plus 3,
Yeah, so that is a hit.
3.
That is a solid hit.
All right, and then I get a +2 to damage, and my roll is a 2. So.
Okay, and then you add your strength bonus.
Strength bonus is 2, and actually, if this is the person I was smiting, so power attack was +2, strength is +2, and then charisma is 3.
Right. Okay, so you do a total of 7 points of damage as you strike him. Your blade catches him in the side because he's turned to face Millie. You catch him in the side. You score it right across his ribs. Ah! You see he hunches over to the side. He's clearly hurt now. The mage, he looks at you, Wilnan, and he utters a syllable. I need you to make a will save DC 13.
Roll is 6, plus 3 is 9.
All right. You feel yourself, you stiffen up, and you feel as though you're being held by some invisible force, your body unable to move. Now we go to the... Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't give Liluth an attack that round. I should have gone to Liluth next. All right, go ahead, Liluth.
I guess I'll cast. So everybody's kind of there. What's the distance between me and the mage? Yeah,
so you can see here, it's pretty much to scale. So he's only about 12 feet away from you. Wilman's standing right in front of you. The assassin is about 9 feet away, and then the mage is just 3 feet from him.
Oh, okay. I'll cast Entangle.
Okay. What is the DC on that?
DC for this check is equal to the DC of the spell.
Plus,
How would I find that?
so it'd be 10, it's a first level spell, 11, and then you should be adding your wisdom to that, I would think.
My wisdom? Okay, so my wisdom
So it's going to be a total of
is
14.
plus 3.
Yeah, it's going to be a total of a 14 DC, right? Got it. Okay. You see the mage, he seems to elude it. It's wrapping around his legs, but he has something with his staff in his hand, and he slams it to the ground, and you see the tentacles pull away. But the assassin, they start wrapping up his legs. You see his eyes go wide as the nimbleness of his ability to fight has been taken from him. Now we go to the assassin who attacks. He attacks Millie again, but he is clearly now affected and slowed.
It also says that if the plants are in the area covered in thorns, those in the area will take 1 point of damage each time they fail a save against the entangle.
Yeah, just you know what, I want to make sure I adjudicate this correctly. You do not have to have plants in the area for entangle, right? You create those essentially from the spell, right? But you get a bonus if you happen to be in a wooded area where there is, right? Okay, right. All right. Okay, so as he swings at you, Millie, the first, as he tries to lean forward, his feet are tangled, his blade goes awry. The second attack comes across the top to hit you. It does strike the second time.
Ow.
You take 4 points of damage. All right. It is initiative.
All right, I'm rolling initiative again. Okay, I have 4.
And the DM as a 3. You have it.
right.
So we're going to start with you again, then Millie.
All right. Well, can I say something as a free action?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. You can speak all you wish.
I'm going to just kind of, in the general direction of our druid and our paladin, be like, I could really use some healing, if at all possible. I'm a little bleeding right now. So, when you have a moment, and then I'll turn and, with the rapier, attack again.
Okay, go ahead, roll to hit.
That is a 20, exactly. Dirty 20.
You feel as you swing, you know he would have normally evaded this, but as his legs are stuck in the entanglement from Liluth, he can't move away, and you strike him.
Okay, that was the rapier, and then on the dagger.
By the way, for all of our players who don't know,
6.
that's the effectiveness of a sort of a flat-footed save, right? You don't have your dexterity bonus being added anymore to your armor class because your ability to move or to be dexterous has been eliminated. So he is now stuck. It's effectively a flat-footed roll, which is why she was able to hit with a roll that was missing earlier. All right, what was the damage?
So I got a 6 with my dagger, so obviously that misses, but the damage for the rapier is a 8 points of damage.
Okay, you bring your blade across as he's entangled. You catch him right above the navel, and you score a straight shot that comes up his sternum, splices open his armor, scores a red cut deep into him. Blood starts pouring out. You see he starts to look panicked. He's trying to move and he can't move. We go to you, Wilnan.
Am I petrified or something?
Yeah, so you're still. You can observe, but you cannot do anything. You're stuck. You can give me a frustrated glare if you like. And Liluth.
Lilith will come up, and after Millie's sass, she says her sass, she'll come up and vitalize, I think is what it's called, right? Again.
Okay, so you need Vital Life. Thank you very much for the follow. We appreciate that, sir. And another sub, thank you.
Another temporary hit point.
All right, so you move over toward Millie. You see she's bleeding badly, and you reach out, you lay your hand on her again. Millie, you feel that familiar warmth. And thank you very much, Jay Birchfield 3, for the gift subs. You get 1 hit point back. Again, this is...
that warmth isn't from the scotch.
It could be. Who knows?
Maybe.
All right, and so now we go to Brim.
When the bounding was happening and he was coming down the stairs, it was almost like he was dragging them all behind him.
What do you think you're doing?
Or he'd like to drag and pull it up into his hands to bring it down, if he can make it within 10 feet of that mage.
Yes, absolutely. So this is a benefit for you, and this is for you, but also for the viewers to understand. Brim is wielding a crude maul. It's actually a remarkably rustic-looking weapon. It's a huge stick of wood that has the end of it looks like a thick head of a stool that has been attached to it. It's very cumbersome, but it has exceptional reach at the end of your long arms. You have a 10-foot reach with this weapon when wielding with 2 hands. You simply step forward and you're able to bring it over the top toward the mage, who he looks over at you. You see his eyes go wide. Roll to hit.
Thanks. That'll be 14 to hit.
Okay, total 14 or?
I think total 14. It's a 9 plus, I think, 5.
9 plus Yeah, okay, so yeah, you have your strength bonus, which at your strength would normally be a +5. You lose 1, but you gain, because you're dealing with sort of the opposite of a masterwork weapon, right? It's a subpar weapon, so it's a -1 on the weapon, but it's then a +1 for your class bonus, right? So your base attack. So you swing it down, and you see the mage, he staggers back, and as he does so, thunk, your club strikes the ground just inches, kind of skirts right past his face and just misses him. We go now to the enemies. The assassin strikes at Millie again. Whoops, rolling it.
Parry and riposte.
Okay.
Uthar wonders what Gimble is doing.
Gimble is out cold. You don't have to wonder. You can hear the gnome snoring behind you. There is an audible somnolence happening.
He does.
All right. For the parry and riposte is 12 points or 12.
Okay.
On the die.
You do knock the first blade away. The second one, as it comes across, scores a hit. You feel his blade bites in. Ooh, this one's deep. As he comes up, he catches you right sort of under the right arm, slashes up through your shoulder. You take 5 points of damage.
Yeah, I'm unconscious.
You all hear Millie, ah! She calls out. I don't know, perhaps it was, tougher than that. I don't know. I don't want to presume what you sounded like. If you'd like to go ahead and do it for me.
I think.
No, don't give me an, oh, darling.
No. I'm trying to think.
That's a perfect one, right? She falls over. Now we go to the mage. The mage, his eyes wide, he holds out his hand toward Brim, of course. And Brim, you see 5 missiles come flaring out of his hand. And
Feather.
rolling, if I snark tonight, rolling in my Dragon Crafting Guild dice tray. The first one's a 1, that's good. 2, that's 3. 4, ooh, that's 7. And 4 again, that's 11. And 2, 13 points of damage. They burn into your flesh as they strike you.
Question, DM, where are we with hit points?
Well, you need to know that. So, actually, you had come back, you had received healing, so you were all at full hit points. You were sort of sore from the day's battles, but you were freshly, healed up. You had received some ministrations from the local officials when you came back successfully. So you would be now, I think you have 18, so you're right, okay. Okay, and so now we go to initiative. Thank you. Oh, Wickara, good to see you, sir. Thank you so much for the follow, Wicked Studios. And the DM has?
Since I'm unconscious.
Yeah, so now we need to rotate. This needs to go to Liluth. Liluth, roll for initiative for us. DM has a 4.
2.
All right, they have it. The assassin, he's desperately trying to pull himself free, but he can't. He attacks Wilnan now, pivoting toward him. Wilnan, who is flat-footed. The first blow glances off of your shield as he swings you. He hits your shield. He can't really pivot around as well as he would like to. So the shield's in your left arm. You can see where he's standing. As he tries to turn, very awkwardly because he can't move his feet, he's only able to get to your shield. He comes around with the second time, he connects, and you take 3 points of damage from his blade as it bites in.
I'm unconscious.
You see Wilnan now falls unconscious. And we go to Brim.
Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. He's just gonna go for another swing on this mage.
Okay, so again, maintaining your distance to stay out of the way of the entanglement, you swing your huge maul down toward him. Roll to hit.
Oh.
What was the roll?
That was a natural 4.
And okay, all right. Again, so he's kind of stepped back a little bit out of the way, thunk, that second blow hits the ground. We go to Liluth.
Question
Uh-huh.
really quick. Brim has an advantage. Have you used it yet?
He has not.
Oh my gosh, I did get an advantage.
Yeah, everybody got one,
Advantage.
and he has not used it. I'm not going to remind you guys of that stuff. You got to remember it. All right, we go to Liluth.
Just check. So I see both of them fall down, like Millie and Uthar.
Yes.
And Millie's the one that's closest to me.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I'll stabilize her.
Okay.
I'll cast stabilize.
And that should bring me to 0 hit points if I remember correctly.
That's correct.
Yeah.
All right, so you lean over, you touch her, you feel her pulse is still strong, beginning to go a bit faint. Time to roll up new characters. Well, no, you see this assassin. He is bleeding very, very badly now. We have... Everyone has gone, correct? Yes. Okay, it is initiative again. And this time we're going to rotate over to Brim. Brim, you're rolling initiative because Liluth lost it last time.
I've been rolling horribly. That's a 1.
Oh, DM has a 1, so roll again.
Yes!
DM has a 2 this time.
That's a 2.
Oh, okay, well, we tied again. All right, DM has another 2.
That's a 5.
Okay, all right, you have it. This, by the way, this is one reason I love party initiative. This is how it can be so impactful in a battle. It makes a huge difference. All right, you have it, Brim.
And you have an advantage if you really want to use it.
I remembered I just have been saving it in case a spell would be cast on me. But I think this is about the time that I use it.
Okay.
2 natural 20s incoming.
Yeah, I'm going to be pissed off if that happens. But yeah, I'm swinging down on that mage again.
Okay.
Thank gosh for the advantage. I have a 15 to hit.
Okay, that's a total?
Mage, yep, that's the total.
A 15 to hit. That just hits. I told you missed him by inches before. That was a 14. That was the inch. So you have a hit. Roll damage.
That is 12 damage.
Wow, okay. Yeah, so this time Brim just extends a little bit further. Thunk! You catch him in the shoulder. You feel a bone crunch. You see his shoulder sag. Ah! He lets out a cry. We go now to Liluth. Wilnan, you're starting to feel your unconsciousness is getting deeper. You feel very, very, very tired. Gimble, you start to wake up. You come alert, and your eyes are blinking. You're looking around. You're very disoriented. Hey, thank you very much, Au Noir. So we go to Liluth.
I have a sling. I'll attack the who's the other guy? Not the mage, the other one.
Okay, the assassin. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you're just a couple feet away from him, like really easy target. Roll to hit.
16 plus. What would be my?
So you would add your dex and then your base attack bonus.
Dex is +3.
Yeah, and so it's a total. Right. So, and again, as before, he's stuck. Boom! Your sling hits. Roll damage.
What is the sling for damage? 1d4?
Gimble, get to work. 4 points of damage.
Yeah.
All right. Liluth, why don't you describe what we see for me?
For the damage?
Yeah, okay, so when I say that, I could say, describe it for me. I could say, tell me what it looks like. I might use a DM solo and say, the choice is yours. I use all kinds of different things. Describe it for me.
How do you want to do this?
How do you want to do this? Anyway.
Very similar to in the tomb with the skeleton. I'll swing at that critical hit that I had in that tomb there with the skeleton. I'll go right for his eyes.
All right, so you're swinging, and again, you're like 3 feet from him. His eyes go wide. Boom! You let that sling go. Thwack! It hits him right in the forehead, and he slumps over to the ground. Gimble, as you kind of you get up, you're looking around. you try to take in everything. Your view is blocked by the massive back of Brim standing in front of you. But you hear the sounds of battle all around, and as you do so, you recognize the familiar feeling of magic in the air as the mage chants something. Brim, you see his hands move, and as they do so, you see his body vanishes. He just, like one moment he's there, the next second he is gone.
Question to the DM. Gone, or can I still see his heat signature?
Yeah, great question. So, with your infravision, no, you see nothing. Gone.
With that,
you hear footsteps coming down. Several patrons, they had heard the sounds of combat, and apparently they sort of, wisely stayed up above before they came down. And Osler, what's happening here? Oh my goodness! Are you all right?
Sorry, go ahead, Rory.
Wilnan with the. Never mind. No, never mind. Yes, go ahead, Rory. You were going to say something?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Gimble also has heat vision, correct?
Correct.
As a gnome?
Correct.
Although there's not a heat signature.
Yeah, so I mean, you still see some residue. By the way, nobody freak out on the stream. I hit the wrong button on my stream deck. Just a second. All right. So you can still see the faint heat, and you see actually there's still some heat signature. The assassin is still alive.
So before the people get down, Gimble wants to get his way up to his feet, kind of like shaking off their grogginess, and follow to the exit if he can make it to an exit where those footprints go.
Sure. So you're right by that door, and you step over the fallen body of Wilnan, and you move into the doorway, and so you look out into the night, and again you see the same thing I described earlier to Millie. It's dark. You can see nothing outside.
I'll rush over to Uthar and stabilize him as well.
Sorry, I didn't mean to call you out like that, Jay. All right, so you stabilize Wilnan, who had bravely charged downstairs, still in his night garments. Millie, what are you doing?
Well,
you're still unconscious. Yes, okay.
So
Brim.
you can hear a slight sound of...
I'll say to Uthar next time it would be wise to get dressed before rushing into battle.
Am I conscious for that, or am I just...
No, you're not. She's trash talking your cooling body.
You're right. That's what I'm saying as I'm healing you.
His nightly night garments. All right, so Brim, what are you doing?
Do I see that both of them are now getting stabilized by?
Yeah, you see Liluth moving to each of them, and you still see there's color. You've been around enough battle. You're sure they're not dead.
Okay. I'm going to go over. Is the Liluth? Are the grasping vines still kind of doing their thing?
I can stop that. Can I?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'd make them go away. As long as everything's gone then, and there was no danger, I would make sure that was gone so people can walk around.
We may want to heal this one. Keep him alive.
As I grab onto his left shoulder and his right shoulder and lift him up and just hold him.
That way we can get some answers.
Which one is that one? That's the mage or the...
No, the mage disappeared. So he's picked up the body of the assassin.
Okay, I'll stabilize him then. And I'll look over to the owner and ask for a big glass of milk. And I'll look at Brim and be like, "You earned it, buddy."
He's also gone to good is clearly he's shaken. He's seen a lot in his time, but this kind of combat right in the middle of the welcome wench is not something that he is accustomed to. Several of the other patrons they're sort of inquiring and milling around upstairs. You see a woman, gray-haired woman. She kind of pokes her head over Osler's shoulder and she looks down. Oh my! What on earth is happening here? Oh, fair town, this is... Oh! And she kind of scuttles down the hallway. You're not sure if she was saying that about the bodies downstairs or you, Brim.
Yeah. No, I try and hide my face when people start looking.
Aww.
All right, so Gimble, you get outside. As you move outside, as I said, you see there is nothing but an empty street. You see no signs of your enemy. What do you do, Gimble?
He'll just go back inside and shut the door behind him and go over by Brim and Lila.
Okay. You close the door behind you, stepping back into the inn, and Osler comes down. He starts just picking up. There's a couple of broken benches from the combat. And he says, I think I have you to thank for this. I appreciate you acquitting yourselves as well again as you had done in the matter of Kron. I don't know how this could have happened in my inn. I had locked the door.
We do not know either. But also, please, go to bed. We'll take care of the cleanup right now. We'll talk in the morning about this. We all need our sleep.
All right. So is anybody doing anything else besides going back to your rooms? Or are you going to head back to the same room? What's the party doing?
I'm still unconscious, so I don't know.
We gotta do something with this assassin.
Yeah, what do you want to do with this assassin? You're just carrying him around. Brim?
You can't hold him forever.
Flex a bit.
Oh, you hear a voice. Oh no, what on earth is happening here? I was at the end of the hallway. I didn't hear this. You see Ashrin standing at the top of the stairs, looking very concerned. She comes rushing down the stairs. Liluth, are they alive?
They're alive.
She rushes over. She lays her hands on Wilnan first, and you see she closes her eyes. She says a brief prayer. As she prays, there is an energy that flows into Wilnan, and Wilnan, you receive. Thank you very much for the follow, Shadow Fox. You get 6 hit points back.
What? Oh.
You wake up. You see the red-headed Ashrin standing over you, looking very concerned.
Oh, thank you.
She moves over. She just nods at you. Think nothing of it. And she moves to Millie, and she does the same. Millie, you get 5 hit points back.
All right.
Where is the mage?
Ow. 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 Tell me somebody managed to hurt that guy a whole lot.
Millie, you wouldn't believe how much I did to him. It was like nothing I've ever dreamt before. Does anyone got any rope? We probably need some rope.
Brim's just holding this limp body on his shoulder.
Not
I
the
don't
first time.
really have any rope on hand, no.
I'll ask the owners if there's anywhere we can, like a prison or somewhere we can keep him.
Does Ashrin have rope?
Well, Ostler says, you can take him to the constable, or if you're wishing to do what I think you are, you might want to just take him to one of your rooms.
Brim.
What do you think we're gonna do with him?
I've seen that look in a man's eye before. You're going to ask him some very hard questions, I think.
Now we're on the same page.
Oh!
Just don't leave any blood on the floor.
Oh, yeah, I'll try not to.
I'll clean it up if he does.
Gosh, what is wrong with people?
Well, I guess we can tie him
Shall
up in
we?
the... Do we want to tie him up?
Come
I
to my
stagger
room.
back up to my room and put the rest of my armor on.
I'll look
Just
over
in
at
case.
Uthar and say, it's about time you got dressed.
Serious.
Uthar decides diligence. It's time to go ahead and put the armor on after the fight's over. But it does feel better to be on, particularly in your badly damaged condition. What do you do, Brim, with this unconscious body?
Pretty much as everyone's going back and forth, he's going to walk back upstairs to his room, and I'm not sure what I have in my equipment, so I don't think I have rope. But
I was going to say I will follow Brim because I have particular interest in this captive.
That sounds ominous. All right.
And I'd like to pretty much tie his hands up to the bedpost and his legs to the bedpost as well, and lay my maul right on his chest.
Okay. His breathing is shallow but steady. Your maul, you hear some exhale. It grows more rapid even as unconsciousness clears, it's putting a lot of weight right on his chest. Is anyone else in the room with Brim?
I'm going to walk into the room.
All right.
And as soon as I see the man tied up, she's going to be, oh, I know this one.
Oh, what do you mean?
No, don't worry about it, darling. So, I think we have a few questions for this fellow.
He's gonna have to sleep a bit. I don't think he's able to wake up yet.
Gimble, by the way, is still down. He's gonna stay down in the tavern.
Oh, he stayed down there? Okay.
He just
All
goes
right.
back to sleep.
Wilnan, Uthar, are you going to stay in your room after you've donned your armor, or are you heading into the same room with them?
After donning my armor, I head back down and I search around to get some sustenance. I need a break.
Okay. Ashrin also comes in the room. It's getting quite crowded in here now. Really, a room with Brim by himself gets pretty crowded. But she squeezes in and she says, "Well, we did find that I found the potion of healing in the mausoleum 2 days ago. I could use that on him if you think we want to bring him to consciousness."
Is he breathing at all?
Oh yeah, he's breathing. As I said, it's sort of a shallow breath. Thank you, Adam FZ, for the follow.
I'm going to walk up to him and slap him right across the face.
Okay. You slap the unconscious body. Yeah, he's definitely out. So OOC, he's below zero, right? He's
All right. Well, you deserve that anyway, even if you're not going to wake up.
all right. Millie is so delicate in these matters. Anyone else doing anything? You good? Ash, she says, I've used my prayers for the day. It will be another day now before I can do a healing with my own hands.
That's fine.
Yes. Well, I appreciate the assistance you gave me downstairs, I should say. So, thank you.
Oh, think nothing of it. I wish I'd known you were down there. No one knocked on my door.
It was a bit of a panicky moment. I think it flew out of our heads.
Next time you hear Panther, you know what's going on.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So it's the middle of the night. You guess it's probably a couple hours past midnight. Still dark outside. Is anybody doing anything else? You gonna,
I'm going to go back to my room and try to get some sleep.
Can I look through his pockets and see what kind of things he has on him?
Okay. So as you do so, you see he has, you brought up, his equipment as well. He had 2 short swords that he dropped. You pick those up. They appear very well balanced. They're nice blades. He's got leather armor that has been absolutely ruined. It was black leather armor, but it's been split in several places, including right up the sort of the front of the chest. It's split wide open. In his pockets, you find he has a sack tucked into one of his pockets. When you open it up, you find it has 28 pieces of gold in it, and also has 14 silver pieces, no copper.
Lilith will take the bag and kind of empty out the gold and the silver on the side table, and she'll just take the pouch and put it in one of her pockets.
Okay. And then Lilith, I need you to go ahead and roll the d20 for me as well, and add for me your perception.
I rolled a 12 plus perception plus 3. Oh
Okay.
no, plus 4.
Should be higher than that.
Yeah.
So you do notice. Sorry, go
You
ahead.
should have at least a 5 for your perception because you're an elf, so that's a +2, and then your wisdom is high, right?
My wisdom is
Yeah, she's got a 17 wisdom plus
17.
3.
Yeah.
So
17
yeah,
plus
so
3.
it should be a 5 for your base.
That's correct.
perception.
That's correct. So,
Okay.
Lilith, as you're looking, you notice something catches your eye. He's otherwise, obviously, he's bloodied, but he was otherwise, quite well. He was clean. His leathers were clean. His robe was clean. His blades are polished. But you notice there is on the surface of his black boots and kind of on the edges, there's a reddish, almost clay-like mud on the boots.
Would that look familiar to me at all, or would I know?
Roll knowledge local, please.
Okay. 6 total.
No, you have no clue. It doesn't look like the soil you've seen immediately around Hamlet here. All right, everybody goes to your room. And does anyone do anything but sleep?
I mean, I don't really have a bed anymore.
After getting a bite to eat downstairs and coming up and seeing what's going on, I offer to watch over this guy, and we can tie him up. So just to double check, which room are we in?
They're all in Brim's room.
Brim's room.
The largest room with the largest bed.
We can tie him up in my room, and you can get some sleep. I'm definitely not going to be able to sleep tonight, and I'll be happy to watch over him.
How big is your bed?
Big enough for this filth.
The reason I ask is because we want his arms as far apart from one another as possible. So I felt my bed may be the best for those purposes.
I'll have my sword ready, and I will remove his arms if he attempts to use them.
I mean, I'd prefer that not happening.
As would I.
Knock him out if needs be.
That I will.
Gosh.
We can hog tie him.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
All right. So after this point, you get the remainder of the evening for rest. Wilnan stays in there as well. And soon light comes in. You can hear the birds through the windows. It's just another typical morning in Hamlet, as though nothing untoward had happened the night before.
Do we get anything from the rest? Finishing our rest?
You get a paltry 1 hit point. So you're rested, in a nice inn, but your sleep was disrupted with combat in the middle, so very minimal healing. Yes, they are at the Welcome Wench. So you wake up in the morning, and Wilnan and Brim, you guys are in the same room still, correct?
I went back to my room.
Oh,
and
you
slept.
went. Oh, I see. Okay.
Tied him up in my room.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm sorry, I missed that. All right. So, Wilnan, when you wake up in the morning, you look over and you see the assassin. He's splayed out on the bed, and his eyes are open. He's looking right at you.
How was your sleep?
I tell you, friend, come a bit closer. I have something I want you to know.
I am comfortable where I am. You can tell me whatever you wish, but watch yourself. I am not in a mood to be trifled with.
You have messed with the wrong man, and you have stumbled into something much bigger than you know.
The bigger the mess, the bigger the glory, and that's all I seek. I'm sorry you've lost your gold, for your little task has failed.
Oh, we haven't failed. In fact, I want you to know. And that's where we're going to stop tonight. So normally our show, we'll be about a 3-hour show each week, but every other week we're in a little bit early. One of our players has an obligation that they have to get to called work every other week. So what we're going to do now is, Lilith, you're welcome. If you need to jump off screen and get ready, you can. And we're going to go ahead and give our giveaway. So let's give Lilith a hand. Thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us today. And Lilith, we'll see you right back here next Tuesday at 5 o'clock.
I will be there. And I'm going to work, so have a good night, guys.
Yes. And next week it'll be the full, we'll go to 8 o'clock next week.
Yeah.
So it'll be the full 3-hour session. But thank you so much. And really a fun session. Great role play.
Awesome.
Your combat prowess was up and down. You had some good moments. You had some tougher moments. But hey, guess what? Welcome to being first level. And I love first level characters. They're puny. They're always one step away from death. And that's half the fun of it. So you'll definitely have, if you survive, you'll have your moments as you level up where you're going to be hitting a lot more often and you're going to feel more powerful. But yeah, when you're first level, that's why, honestly, Millie, when you went out there by yourself, it was a easy 50-50 shot. You were dead. I was like, but that is consistent.
The wisest person.
That was consistent with her character. It really was. It was well played. I liked it. And you were very easily going to be the first death of the campaign. But you made the right choice bailing out. You would not have survived another round in that combat, and you rolled quite well in terms of your escape effort. All right. So thank you very much to all of our viewers. We're going to do our giveaway now, and so let me reset the bot. And of course, you know what this is. This is the coolest giveaway I've seen anywhere on Twitch. This is the classic Glossography 1983 Greyhawk box set. Look at those corners, beautiful condition. It does have a little bit of a split on one corner, but otherwise it is in fantastic condition. And I'm going to clear this, and I'm going to do a new keyword. So this time your keyword is going to be exclamation point Greyhawk. All one word. And if you misspell Greyhawk, you don't deserve to be in this raffle. Hey, thank you, Pathos69. We appreciate the follow. And I've got that all set up, and it should be good. And people are typing Greyhawk. Let me make sure this is kicked off here. I think I have to hit enter.
I almost want to enter.
Yeah, hang on here. I'm sorry, everybody. Hang on 1 second. Hang on. I think I'm going to have you do it again. I don't think it took. Yeah. Let me refresh it. Hang on. I think it was still on the old one. So let me refresh. Users, keyword. I'm sorry, you're going to have to do that again. But that's a small price to pay for a chance to win this. All right, so Greyhawk and enter. And let's just do a test. Before everybody else types it in, let me go ahead and have...
you want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead and do it. I can't do it since I'm the... Okay, Shane O'Mac. Okay, it's working now. All right, so go ahead and type it again. Type exclamation point Greyhawk. and you'll have your chance to win this beautiful set. As we're getting those in, and we're getting quite a few, I want to thank you again for joining us. Obviously, we had a couple little wrinkles that we worked out here, but I think overall it went really well for the first session. And Rory, if you can scoot over a bit, my friend, you're way off your screen. Actually, I see what happened. That's because Liluth left. Okay, so let me go. This is my emergency screen. So I'm bailing out of everything else, and we just have these Zoom screens. I wanted to tell Lily to leave her camera on next time when she. We're going to be doing the giveaway here in just a second, but I want to thank all of the viewers. Great chat today. So many of you were very involved, very funny, great content, great additions to the stream. And then also, again, a shout out to Christoph of Greyhawk Online or Journal. Thank you very much. Thank you, Pluffett Smedger and the whole group over there at Cannon Fire. Thank you, of course, to Jay, the Lord Gasumba, Anna B. Meyer with our maps, to John from Dragon Crafting Guild, to Frederica, who did our incredible art. This takes a community. And then a thank you to all the role players. It's a commitment of time. We all have busy schedules. Many of you have other, even creative endeavors you're involved with. I do not take it lightly that you spend 3 hours a week with me on this Greyhawk Awakening session. So, interestingly, you do have the Awakening moniker that is in the name. I wonder what that means. Awakening what? Awakening from where? That's not a randomly chosen name. So if you want to know what Greyhawk is awakening, or what is awakening in Greyhawk, or what, you're going to have to stay tuned to this campaign stream. Please tell a friend about it. Let them know. It's going to be a lot of fun. And hey, thank you very much for all the great comments. Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that, Wicked. Thank you, Jim. I got a lot of comments today also about the audio tracks. We do a lot of kind of cool things with audio. I didn't get to use my ultra wide kind of shot here, although I bumped my camera. But the mini sets, I've been inspired by many in the community. I'm not going to outdo Gasumba anytime soon, but there's other folks out there. I mentioned Solo, Fable 42. That's a good crew. They've always got great mini setups. And all right, so thank you very much all, and we're going to go ahead and roll the dice. So, yeah, thank you very much, Judge Merlin. If you said, if I were to describe, let me go back to, if I were to describe, what Blue Box is about, it's old school role play. Oh, I'm going to make you drum for a long time here. It's about old school role play. It's about fun sessions. It's about exciting combat. The combat is tactically pure. It's to the rules, but I keep it fast-paced and descriptive. And then it's about really bringing the best of old school and new school together. This includes, the lighting effects, the sound, and it's all set up in a way, I control it all here as the DM, but it's set up in a way that it's not too distracting to me. I'm able to use the tech to keep it one touch and quick. If I'm stopping to do things with sound or lighting and I'm removing the ambience from it, then that sucks. All right, so here we go. We have one question for you, though. And Rory and Josh, you won't know this yet, but we have one question for you. This is a Blue Box thing. If you've watched today and you've enjoyed the show and you haven't followed us or given us a subscription yet, we have one question for you. What are you doing? Please give us a follow and a sub, and of course, many of you did tonight. Okay, with no further ado, the Greyhawk Glossography Classic 1983 box set. I roll the die, and it is Zombie Night! Zombie Night, one of our brand new followers. Zombie actually popped in, and he subbed tonight. Congratulations for that. And yes, really, my friend, really. And I think you came in through Greyhawk Online. Didn't I see you join from the Creators Content channel on GHO? I think I did. And so all I need you to do is you can follow me on the Discord, or you can go to our Instagram. Our Instagram is BlueBoxRPG. We post all of our stuff in both locations. BlueBoxRPG on Instagram. DM me. I need your address and your name, and I will get this guy out to you this week. So again, DM me your address and your name. And again, thank you to all of the viewers. I wish I had more of those to give out. So many of you join. I don't like disappointing anyone, but congratulations to Zombie Night. Yeah, I thought you'd come through Greyhawk Online, so shout out to GHO. Tell all your friends about the show. Thank you again very much to the players, and we'll be right back same Blue Box time, same Blue Box channel, Tuesday, 5 o'clock Central next week. Thank you very much. Blue Box concludes Session 1 of Greyhawk Awakening. And we're going to go ahead and do a raid, so hang on with us if you can. We're going to pull up, I believe, we might be a little bit early for Will, but let me just check. Normally we're going to be able to hit him right after this stream, but we're wrapping up a little bit early every other week. And I don't think I see him on yet. I'm going to have to let him know and try to have him come on early every other week so we can sync up. I don't know if he can do that or not. But I don't see anybody that we want to raid tonight. I don't recognize any of these channels, and I don't want to forward my viewers to channels that I don't really know what they're doing. Will's channel. Can anybody in the chat me? Yeah, he's not going yet. I thought so. He starts at 8. So we'll catch him every other week, Zeroth, and on. And I'll see if I can get him. Maybe we can sync this up on the other weeks where we're ending a bit earlier. So we're going to go ahead and conclude without a raid because I don't want to raid somebody random. But thank you so much. We'll catch Will next week. Thank you, Jay. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you next week.